The tape, let's grind. Shut up. The tape. Let's grind. The tape. We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro.
Let's
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
You can do anything you want. I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday evening here inside the studio. The plan all week was to rock this sucker solo, but I just couldn't help it. I had to get my boy Christian Kirby in here tonight. On a fine no-shave November day. You about done with that thing?
Dude, I'm getting tired of this thing. I'm ready.
I
I'm ready for it
don't
to
comment
go.
on my coworkers' male, gaze or whatever you call that. But yeah. I don't know if that shares for you. I think I like you mustached Christian Kirby.
I get mixed reviews on it. My mom really likes it, but I'm not a fan.
What's the lady friend think of it?
She loves it. But,
Okay. Well, you might have to ride it out.
Nah. They'll come in it. When I shave the head, I'll grow the beard.
Okay. Welcome in tonight.
Dude,
we got a loaded show for you guys. It is a Tuesday during college football playoff rankings reveals time of the year. So right now, the USC Trojans and the Seton Hall whatchamacallits are going at it on the hardwood, bouncing that round ball. We don't seem to care all that much about that one. So what we're going to do right about now for you guys, the hundreds and hundreds of you that are listening today, we are going to give you our college football playoff rankings, takes, questions, comments, concerns, and rankings of our own as we have continued to do this season on these Tuesday rankings reveal. Let's get right after it. But before we get into this, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that great stuff. We've had a tremendous amount of content this week for you guys. All right, we will continue to do so as Thanksgiving arrives upon us. All right, fire off in that chat we have a different time schedule this week or tonight, right? We've already uploaded 3 videos at this point today. We had our previews go out this morning. We had a Vandy film study go out before the show. We've got this live show going on. We've got another film study coming out tonight after this. So there's a lot going on the network. A lot of people not getting notifications. So it's in charge of you guys in the chat to make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and firing off in that chat and getting after it. All right, speaking of, Christian, did you have any primary takeaways from the weekend? You haven't been in here in front of a microphone since, week 13 of college football wrapped up. By the way, we're in the final week of the regular season.
Dude, that's the worst part about it. Yeah. Watching the 3 takeaways I had were part of that as one of them, just being like, man, it's basically over. Other than obviously some big rivalry matchups, the postseason is here. Like all the college football playoff is pretty much set. But my takeaways from week 13 were this. It was basically chalk for the second week in a row, it felt like, where the top 10 didn't really have anything major happen. There wasn't really any upsets, handling business. But the biggest thing I took away from this, it is very obvious right now which teams have agendas and which teams are trying to earn style points and trying to, maybe pedal a little bit for your player that you like. Like, Diego Pavia got fed statistics against Kentucky.
So I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm studying it for the film study we did on Paul at 4:30 today. And I think the first 16 plays, he was either throwing the football, running the football, or pretending to do jet sweeps, which count as pass attempts. I mean, good God. There's been very few more blatant rack up the stats type of performances in college football in recent memory than the one I watched on film. But I tweeted about this today. I'm not here for racking it up. I'm not here for stat padding. I'm not here for any of that. But I mean, dude, if they called 40 shots and he hit 37 of them, he's just a good football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it very much reminded me of when you're playing on the easiest difficulty in NCAA and you're like, I just want to see how many yards I can put up. Let me see if I can get 10,000 yards in a season. Every play is for your player. Everything is designed to get them stats. That's what it was for Diego Pavia. And credit to him for, like you said, hitting the shots they gave him.
Up 48-3 or whatever the hell it was. They're still running no huddle 5 wide.
Yeah.
Like he throws a pick and then they pull him. And then they put the backup in and they're like, all right, let's take it easy on Mark Stoops. I don't know what Mark Stoops has ever done to anybody to ever deserve that, by the way.
You're not covering today, buddy.
No, you're not. You're not covering today. But also, like, someone commented today, like, wait till Mark Stoops gets his get back or has a team that he can win. When has Mark Stoops ever done this to anybody? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. To an extent, I understand what Vandy's doing, though. They're expressing hundreds of years of beatdowns worth of frustration on people now that they can do that. And they have the rightful, they have the right to do so.
Yeah.
It's been 45, 50, 60 some odd years of these SEC schools just thumping the shit out of Vandy every time they get an opportunity. I'm not going to sit there and criticize them for running it up on Kentucky, especially when they have an opportunity for their quarterback to potentially push for a Heisman Trophy, which, by the way, if he wins this weekend, you can guarantee he's going to be in New York.
Oh, for sure.
It's a matter of whether or not he wins the damn thing if he beats Tennessee this weekend, and to an extent.
And not even, just the Pavia thing. Like, Vanderbilt is a fringe playoff team. You need to stack as many good performances as you can. So I'm not upset with them for beating up on a lesser than Kentucky. I wouldn't be upset where if you got up on Tennessee this weekend, you started really trying to embarrass them. Like, you're at a point now, that's what I was kind of getting at with, these Notre Dame putting up 70 on Syracuse, Texas hanging 50 on Arkansas. You're at a point now where if you're not securely in the college football playoff, you need to do things to get style points. So I understand it. It's unfortunate that teams have to be on the losing end of that. But
I felt like Notre Dame didn't have a choice but to beat the shit up out of Syracuse.
Yeah, 35 and a quarter is tough.
Well, Christian, the offense, they were up 21-0 before the offense touched the ball.
Yeah.
Like it was, I had someone comment, how do you feel about Jeremiah Love getting carries when he's up 50? The guys, he had 8 carries and 3 of them for touchdowns. I mean, what do you do? Tell guys to go out there and start falling down on the ground?
No, you can't. And again, like, 70 points is there have to be a lot of things go right, especially in this day and age where possessions feel more drawn out. You don't feel like you're getting as many with the clock. So 70 points it's almost an accent as to how many you score there. But again, I don't think Notre Dame's complaining about that.
All right. It was obviously a chalk weekend. Otherwise, I said yesterday on yesterday's show, or it was on Sunday's show, one or the other. I've talked so much, it feels like the last 36 hours. 17 of the 18 top-ranked teams either won or had a bye, or they were Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech was the only football team in the top 18 teams of last week's rankings that even took a loss. Everybody else won or was on a bye. So it went to straight up chalk. You wonder how much movement there is ultimately able to be had this week. That being said, I'm very curious to see tonight what they did with Oregon's win over USC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the biggest win of the weekend. It was the most noteworthy football game. Obviously, it was the two top 20 ranked matchups last week. It was Missouri and Oklahoma and Oregon and USC. The Oregon win, 42-27, a little bit more noteworthy than the Missouri-Oklahoma game. Do you think they have an opportunity or any availability? Is there any wiggle room to move Oregon this week? I think last week they were 7th on the rankings.
So it's weird because I feel like at this point, especially when you get to this top 10, when you reward one team, you have to punish another. And it's not so much that I don't think Oregon doesn't deserve to move up because of what they did. That was a very impressive win. We all thought USC was a team that had a chance to make college football playoff this year. My problem is if you're going to move Oregon up, you're inadvertently going to punish Ole Miss, a team that was on a bye, that won last week, has a lot of things ahead of them. We feel like, so I agree that Oregon probably should have an opportunity to move up here. I just wonder if it's fair to say, yeah, sorry, Ole Miss, they get to jump you because you were on a bye. It's like, and then you're going to get this idea in Ole Miss fans' head of we're getting punished for being on a bye week. What do we have to do here? So I think that to avoid setting that precedent, Oregon stays put, but you could make the argument that what they did deserves to be moved up. I mean, it's their first ranked win of the season.
Obviously, still a lot more talking points around Ole Miss that we will address tonight. Most notably, whether or not they will have a head football coach in the college football playoff that they are shaping up to ultimately be in. Another question, and it was the other top 20 matchup this past weekend, was that Oklahoma-Missouri game. I'm very curious to see. Pribula obviously started that football game. You and I and Jonathan, we're not all that high on Missouri. We haven't been all year. The defense is great. Ahmad Hardy's awesome, but when you play a run defense like Oklahoma's, we know they're going to eliminate Ahmad Hardy, and it's like, well, we're not sold on Bo Pribula in and of his own right. But they were at, 20th last week in that matchup, 22, whatever it was. Like, they were a ranked football team. My question is, what do they talk about tonight with that game? Is that a noteworthy win? Is that a quality win? How do they speak about that win over Missouri? Because I think a lot of people look at that and go, 17-16, that's gross.
Yeah, if I'm a member of a committee looking at that game, it's kind of just like, you know what? They came out and they handled their business. When you start splitting hairs as to how teams won against lesser teams, like you can get into a really, really hairy area. Like Georgia, for example, had multiple one-score wins against SEC opponents this year. A 4-point win against Florida. They were trailing in the fourth quarter. Like you could make the argument they should have been punished there. So my take on it would be, as ugly as it was a win, as much as it's not going to give you any style points, you went out against an SEC team that was ranked, that we all agree is competent, is a solid team, is an admirable game, and you handled business. Now, it wasn't pretty, but
the one thing we damn sure know about this college football playoff committee, they don't care about who you've beaten. They don't care about quality wins. All they care about is which teams you've lost to and how do they stack up against each other.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is no more obvious than how Notre Dame is ranked versus other football teams. Like if you just look quality wins between Alabama and Notre Dame, it's Alabama. If you went quality wins, Oklahoma versus Notre Dame, it's Oklahoma. But if you go who's lost better games, it's Notre Dame. They're ranked higher. That's how this college football playoff committee has gone throughout the year. It's, are your losses quality, not are your wins solid? That, at least that's my interpretation of how they have slotted, even more so than like people freaking out about head-to-head, because they've respected head-to-head previous times this year in rankings with regards to ranking Oklahoma over Texas, or Texas over Oklahoma prior to Texas losing to Georgia. They've respected some of these head-to-heads, most of these head-to-heads. They haven't respected that head-to-head of Miami over Notre Dame because of the losses that they presume to be bad losses. But don't those losses somehow look better now? Like SMU and Louisville, quality football teams. We know that now.
Right.
SMU's got a chance to win that conference.
Yeah. My theory on this is that it's an unspoken rule, and I don't even know if the committee's even aware of it. Losses mean more the later you go on in the season.
They're fresher.
They punish you more. Like, for example, Notre Dame has 2 losses. You got those out of the way at the start of the year. You're 10 wins in or 9 wins in a row since then. You've rattled off that many. Alabama, unfortunately, and this is a perfect example of that as well. Alabama lost in week 1. They dropped all the way to the 20s. They slowly climbed their way back up, and they were ranked 4th at their highest before losing to Oklahoma again, and that sent you catapulting back. So, yeah, on a plane of these two teams have an even record, these two teams, here's the quality wins, here's the quality losses, you could say it doesn't matter. But what matters most, and I wish the committee would come out and say this, is unfortunately you get punished harder for losing later in the season. It's why Georgia missed the college football playoff in 2023. It's why right now Miami is ranked behind Notre Dame despite having the same record in head-to-head, because they lost more recently. The more recent losses you have, the more it affects your record in ranking, not record. So I think that's something that needs to be come out and said.
Jay Burra in the chat wants to know, how are we supposed to watch these rankings if this USC basketball game is 10 minutes left in the second half? That's why we do what we do on Tuesdays, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you would much rather have very well thought out, exhaustive college football analysis as opposed to watching that, which, again, no offense to the round ball. Looks like those are two undefeated hoop teams.
Jay Will would be livid right now if you heard you.
You know what? Jay Will can get these buckets anytime he wants them.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. I ain't shot a basketball. I ain't shot a round ball in a fat minute, but I'll take him on the block and give him some barbecue chicken. We'll figure something out.
It's calling out everyone, man. You got Murray, you got Jay Will. You're gonna have a bunch of just 1v1.
Honestly, I can't. Is he here today?
Jay Will.
Jonathan in the chat.
I saw
him earlier, but he dipping in and out. He just showing face and then leaving.
He's probably at a family dinner right now.
Maybe, probably. I would assume so. Having family's dope. I don't think I could take Jay Will. I think I'd smoke Murray's ass in a throwing competition.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it's because I'm not a hooper.
No,
but I can sling the pill. I'm not a quarterback, but I'm a thrower of the football. Whole different topic of discussion for another day. Speaking of another topic of discussion, do they do anything with that Vandy just absolute onslaught of Kentucky? Because Vandy was at 14 last week. They have an opportunity to be 10-2. But I think we're going to learn tonight whether or not, like, especially based off where they rank Tennessee. I know that was the point you brought up in pre-show. I'm sorry for dumping it for you right now. But they won with style points last week. If they win this weekend, they are 10-2. That being said, their 10-2 resume, even with a win this weekend, presumably over Tennessee at Tennessee, their resume looks nowhere. I'm not going to say nowhere as near as good. It does not look as good as what Alabama's does, as what Oklahoma's does, as what all these other 10-2 football teams do, particularly in their own conference. Like, they are the 5th of 5 SEC teams that feel as if they're a playoff team, in my opinion.
Yeah, Vanderbilt kind of got the shaft in this situation. I think they played 6 ranked teams this year, or at least they were ranked at the time they played them. All the teams they lost to have trended upward. Alabama trended upward. Texas has pretty much trended upward. All the teams they beat have gone down. South Carolina, in the dump. LSU, horrible. Tennessee's the only one of these teams that's kind of like maintained a ranking level. So I think that if Vanderbilt can get, first off, like you said, seeing where Tennessee lands in here, because if it's a top 17 matchup and Tennessee goes out and wins out on the road, you're going to have a really hard time saying that 10-2 SEC team shouldn't be in the playoff, and they don't have the resume to do so.
I think the other thing with Vandy is that they've played 2 really good football teams this year, in my opinion. 2 really, really good football teams, Alabama and Texas. Alabama, I think everybody in this chat right now, unless you're a Doors fan, wholeheartedly agrees that Alabama controlled that football game for most of that ball game.
Yeah,
I would say for 4 quarters. Argue with that they dominated them to an extent.
3.5.
3.5 quarters. Yeah. Got them. I mean, the last, I think the second half was 20-10 in terms of time of possession.
Oh yeah, I mean
they squeezed it on them in the second half.
They intercepted Ty Simpson on the first drive and then had an explosive run. It was kind of like, hey, Vanderbilt might be on something here.
And then, I mean, dude, Texas was up on them 21-0 within 15 minutes.
I mean, they had to have 21 unanswered in the fourth for that to even be a close game.
Close. That's what I would. We get into here because that's what it will be. It's just what it should be when they're in these discussions next week. And we have the regular season ending, all right, and then we should ignore basically what conference championship weekend has for us, basically based off last year. Unless somebody wins an automatic bid, you're not going to be penalized based off last year's playoff committee for playing in the conference championship game. I would imagine they asked them that this week, how they feel about that. But I'm very curious to see what Vandy does because we are in a nightmare situation for them. Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma are all in spots, very firm spots to be college football playoff teams. Shit, I forgot Ole Miss. There's 5. There's 5 football teams ahead of Vandy in terms of like pecking order in the SEC, and that's a tough spot for a team that feels as if in any other year they're probably a college football playoff team. And a Cinderella story at that, it would feel like.
Yeah, you are a big Auburn Tigers fan this weekend. You are a big Texas A&M Aggies fan because you don't need Texas creeping up and making things even more difficult for you. So it's unfortunate.
Hell, you're a Georgia Tech fan this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, you're rooting for everybody to have chaotic moments.
Are you a Georgia Tech fan, though? Because if Tech winning would kind of skyrocket them back up in the discussion.
Right. Maybe they're big in front of you. You're right. I mean, it might get ugly. I don't know. I don't know what you root for, but you root for people in front of you to lose.
And it's unfortunate, too, because like my theory on it has been in this 12-team system, have a winning record against ranked opponents, don't lose to anyone unranked. And Vanderbilt has done that, and they're still kind of on the outside looking in right now. So it's unfortunate.
It's not Vandy's fault that LSU's in the shitter.
No, or South Carolina,
or that Bo Pribula broke his ankle in the second half. Like, it's not their fault. They played their schedule. They won their schedule. I don't know. It's tough. They still got to go handle business this week, and they're a dog. They're a 2.5-point dog on the road this weekend in Neyland, so they got to go handle their business. Question I got for the committee: have they realized that them Utes is a bunch of frauds out there in Utah yet? I mean, god dang, how many yards they give up to K-State in that lackluster offense out there with the Wildcats? I mean, good Lord, it was 700 total yards of offense, it felt like. We were about 58 points.
We were this close to being like, well, don't have to really worry about Utah anymore. And then obviously that last second touchdown happened. But man, I think that and this might be the bias showing, but that does kind of illustrate why some of these teams are not playoff worthy, in my opinion. So I agree that I hope that the committee looked at that and said, oh, well, maybe Utah's not exactly what we thought they were. They're not deserving. So
BYU had one loss last year in the regular season?
Two. They had two.
So they went 10-2 last year.
Correct.
They have an opportunity to go 11-1 this year and not have a college football playoff appearance for either.
Unfortunately.
Because if they lose to Texas Tech, I want your opinion on this. If they lose to Texas Tech 2 times but run the rest of the slate, they are very clearly the second best Big 12 team. Do we have room for them? Do we have room for BYU?
We do not have room.
I don't think we do either.
I think that
they go home and it's sad and they're pissed off. But it's, guys, we just had this conversation about Vandy. You know what I mean? And Vandy's about to go play another ranked football team. So there's not enough room. It's why, honestly, I'm not opposed to 16. I know we get into these arguments all the time. I'm not, because I think the 9-3 debates, if you lose 3 football games, you're cooked.
Yeah, and 16 doesn't even solve that issue, because then it's just going to become the 17th team. Well, man, that's unfortunate. They had an opportunity to do so. My thing on this is that we are going to have to, and hopefully the changes to the strength of schedule acknowledgments will fix this. We have to acknowledge, and we have to sit down and look at ACC members and look at Big 12 members and say, hey, guys, I have horrible news. You guys are not looked at on the same level as these SEC teams, as these Big 10 teams. You can have the arguments for which one of those two is better. You're definitely not even close to that discussion.
That's why I'm so bullish on the 16-team model that's automatic bid. 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, 3. You know what I'm talking about? Where they give 4 to the SEC, 4 to the Big 10, 2 to the ACC, 2 to the Big 12, 1 to the highest ranked, non-con, which would be Notre Dame every single year.
Right.
And then 3 at-large bids.
Well, the problem is
I love that, because we remove these goofy-ass athletic directors that can't stand in front of a microphone and defend their opinions.
Yes.
They'd be gone. We'd have automatic bids. You'd play for the 4 spots and we'd be done. I'd be so much more happy with that. It wouldn't be as good of a television product, because we wouldn't sit here for 16 weeks with 17,000 people watching us on a Tuesday night waiting for the college football playoff rankings.
The problem you're going to run into with that, though, is comes in those at-large bids, where it's, all right, the SEC already has 4 teams in. They don't need 2 more teams in, despite the fact that they might have another 10-2 team looking out on the outside of that. So you're always going to have this issue that, and I hate bringing this up. The only way to solve this is Super League it, to make it to where it's too
to have a level playing field.
Yeah,
to actually compare apples to apples instead of what we do right now, which is apples to oranges to tangerines to give me another small fruit to grapes.
Right.
That's what we're out here comparing. We got the Big 10 and the SEC, and then we got smaller plant and fruits over here that we're trying to compare all these guys to and rank them up all amongst each other. And then the 12 people that compromise the committee, they all have their bias. Like I saw something. Check this out. The head of the athletic. This is straight from Clint Lamb's Twitter account today. He does a great job covering Alabama. All right, friend of the show. Clint Lamb tweeted this out. The Urashek guy or whatever, the athletic director for Arkansas, is now the College Football Playoff Committee chairman. Christian, do you know who's in search or who's in discussion for the Arkansas football head coaching job?
Who?
Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for Alabama. So we have the head of the College Football Playoff Committee. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but listen to the conflict of interest we got going on. We got the College Football Playoff Committee chairman in the midst of a coaching search and interviewing several of the football coaches that are on these coaching jobs or on these teams that he's up for deciding who's actually going to make it. So if it comes down to it and the chairman's in the room and he has the opportunity, last vote, Alabama gets in and their defensive coordinator continues to play all the way through January, or Alabama is home and therefore their defensive coordinator's the head coach of Arkansas already, which one you think he's going to do? We shouldn't even be having to ask this question. That is the monstrosity of situations we got going on right now. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the problem with this all ties back to we have a system that is built on people making decisions and people saying who we think the best teams are. The NFL doesn't have this because it's a smaller product. You have a rigid system. Like there is not a team in the NFC South.
Smaller field of teams.
Correct.
You're dwindling down from 136 down to
Correct.
12 instead of 32 down to 16.
Correct.
You're right.
There is not a team in the NFC South, in my opinion, that is inside the top 14 for best teams in the NFL right now. However, they are going to get an auto bid into the playoff because that's how the system works. That's how the rigidity of it works. And no one bats an eye, no one complains because it's not voted on by committee officials or anything like that. That's just the system. That's how it is. Sorry, should have won your division. The problem we have now is college football is way too big to where you have to create kind of this subjectiveness to where, we think this team's better than this team based on these metrics and whatever analytics we're going to look at. So it's never going to be fixed unless you do go to some super league that only acknowledges X amount of teams are even worth competing for this, which I am not for, but it's how you get rid of these discussions and these arguments. So it's pick your poison.
Got a bunch of people watching us. I'm sure the algorithm has placed us in front of brand new people wondering where the college football playoff rankings are because we got a hoops game going on. They bouncing that round ball on that hardwood. Okay, so we're here talking college football. If you are brand new to the network, I'm Brooks Austin, commonly known as the Film Guy. We talk a lot of ball around here Monday through Thursday live, normally 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We would like to add you to one of the many 86,000 subscribers we have around here. Hang around. We know a little ball. We love college football. We enjoy talking it. It's my man Christian Kirby over here. Normally, he's joined by the homie Stretch. Stretch has got an off week. All right. Stretch is hanging out with family, and he's out here chilling. By the way, I'm the only person who's ever called that 6'6", very tall human being Stretch in his life. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually.
I thought everybody north of 6'6" gets Stretch. I thought that's just what you get. Got a couple more questions for the committee tonight. How enraged do they make Miami fans?
I think Miami's going to move up in the rankings, honestly.
Yep.
But
does SMU and Louisville feel like as bad of a loss now?
No.
We have a little more context on it.
No, I mean, you have context on it. It doesn't look as bad. Maybe the Louisville one looks a little bit worse because
both of them were interception-laden performances from the quarterback.
Yeah. I think that they're just going to kind of look at Miami and go, you know what? We'll put you on the wait list. You're one of the first teams that are going to get in if any one or other of these teams screws up and falls out, which the possibility of them doing so is very well. I think you're in an interesting situation now, though, with the ACC, because Miami is far and away the highest ranked ACC team available right now. And they're currently 5th in their conference standings. There's a small, minuscule avenue to where Miami even plays in the conference championship. And we're going to have to auto bid one ACC team. Meanwhile, Miami's going to be ranked 13th or 14th, presumably, at the end of the year. It's going to get very ugly within the ACC because we all agree they're not a 2-conference bid, but Miami might force a hand here.
It's really tough for Miami, and it's nothing to do with their own, product. Like all of their wins, apart from the Notre Dame win, all of their wins from early in the season look like poop now. Like that South Florida win early in the year, it was like, oh, dude, you dominated the Power 4 team. Like we thought South Florida was going to be really, really good. They just got done beating Florida. They were the 18th ranked team in the country when Miami just beat the hell up out of them. that win doesn't look as, good right now. The Florida State was ranked 18th when Miami beat them by 7. Now, Miami was dominating that football game, and then Florida State crawled back into it with a couple late fourth quarter scores. But that win doesn't look as good as it did in that moment, right? You look back in hindsight, and you're like, oh, they haven't really beaten him. But honestly, their most noteworthy win and quality win to an outsider that hasn't placed the context that I just did, the proper context to their schedule, will probably say, oh, this team's got one good win. It was Notre Dame, week 1. And if you lined them up again, I'd pick Notre Dame.
Right.
That's what a hater would say about Miami. By the way, I'd pick Notre Dame.
Understandable. I mean, and again, this is what's unfortunate about some teams end up having really, really difficult schedules that were not that hard at the start of the year. And some teams have extremely manageable schedules that looked like death walks towards the end of the year. Like Oklahoma is one of these teams to where your last 5 games have kind of tapered off of like, oh, Missouri's not that tough. LSU's not really good anymore. Stuff like that to where, oh, things have gotten a lot better for us. So it's unfortunate that Miami, their schedule's their wins aren't as shiny as they once were, but don't have ugly losses.
Christian, do you think they're asked about Lane Kiffin potentially not coaching Ole Miss tonight?
I don't think that's going to become a question for the committee until it happens
a reality.
Concern. Until we get an answer from Lane Kiffin, because
it would be disingenuous for a partner like ESPN to ask that about a member school,
exactly,
like Ole Miss.
And you can't punish something for something that might happen. You can't say, well, Lane Kiffin might leave this year, so we have to punish Ole Miss, or we have to take that into consideration. That'll have to be, you react to it when you react to it. You can't tell a team like your quarterback might get injured this year, and if he gets injured, you're going to be really bad. So you have to react to things with that.
How would you respond to it? Would you penalize Ole Miss in the rankings because they don't have their head football coach? And by the way, if they don't, it's not just their head football coach, it's their play caller. Like, I know Charlie Weiss Jr. is up there, and I know they have Joe Judge, and I know that they have a really good nucleus of football brains up there in that press box calling plays. But Lane Kiffin's the one with the microphone down on his head before 15 seconds is cut off. He's the most important brain in the building. And if you were to rip him, and by the way, you're not just going to rip him. I would imagine everybody but the interim football coach goes to LSU if he goes.
Or to Florida, or either one. Yeah.
Wherever he goes, which I'm going to ask you in a minute what your final prediction on this is. But do you punish, do you see what I'm saying? Do you punish him for this? This is a thing we've never had happen before.
It's certainly a profound situation. What does punishing them look like? Because I don't think that, oh, you lost your head coach.
No, you can't drop them out.
Yeah.
No. But do they get knocked out of a home playoff?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is that what you take into consideration of, oh, we view you as that much
you
less
go from 6 to 9? You can't drop that far because of a football coach, can you?
I don't know.
Because that's how far they'd have to drop.
That's the weird thing. Like, we watched a Florida State team, and I get it's a completely different situation, completely different committee. Florida State got dropped one spot, I think, because they lost their starting quarterback and they didn't look the same. What would that be for Ole Miss? And the other question would be, if Lane Kiffin does leave, you're not going to see Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin until a playoff game. So there's not really a way to measure up against it.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Florida State's case, Jordan Travis got hurt, and they had 3 or 4 games of like, man, the offense doesn't really look good. This is clearly a different team. Who's to say Ole Miss would be a different team if Lane Kiffin and all these other guys leave? We assume it would be, but again, we can't punish them for something that hasn't happened. So
that's a great point.
I would say that as much as it has to be acknowledged, and as much as we all can look at Ole Miss and say, yeah, you're not the same team without Lane Kiffin, you also can't really punish them without having proof of that.
Nope. You know who you should, what's the opposite of punish? Reward. You should reward our friends over at Sleeper.
Yes,
if you haven't headed over to Sleeper yet, tell the folks why they should, Christian Kirby.
Man, if you love games and if you love being brought together through sports, I have the perfect place for you to go. Sleeper Fantasy Sports is a real money gaming app that is focused on doing just that. They have over 6 million active users. Back in 2023, those numbers are only up by now. They have one of the highest levels of engagement per industry. It's not just about sports. It's about building personal connections and lasting memories at Sleeper. If you head over there today and use promo code Brooks, you will get up to a $100 deposit match, a 100% deposit match, up to $100. Put $100 in, you get $100 for free just for signing up. So why would you not take that deal? Very thankful to our friends over at Sleeper. Again, that is promo code Brooks. Make sure to head over there today.
Love those folks. We love those who support us That's what it's all about. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, and make sure you're heading over there to Sleeper using promo code Brooks. 100% deposit match up to $100. StreamYard, which is what we're streaming out of tonight, Christian, has all of my media assets that I've saved over the streams.
Nice.
All these years. I think in the local hour, if we have time, we're going to bring up some, like I found Kristen Miller's commitment video.
Oh, man.
From like 2020. You know what I mean? Like we got stuff like that. There's old tweets in there. There's old edits, old graphics. I just found a My Guys big board. There's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of gold. We got about 4 minutes left in this college football game. So here's what I think we should do. I think we should go to the board now and reveal our 12-team college football playoff bracket. How about that, Christian Kirby? Let's do it.
We are on the same wavelength.
Woo, love being on the same wavelength. No Jay Will in the studio. No camera one because the toddler's toddling. But here we go. We got this big old thing right here. Now, there are several discussion points going into this one tonight. First and foremost, it's pretty chalk at the top. Amen, Christian?
Yeah.
I mean, number one,
easy work
go ahead.
there.
What'd you say?
Easy work there. 1 through 4 is not going to have a lot of controversy in that. Ohio State, obviously, at the 1.
Indiana, obviously, at the 2. We flip-flopped those back last week. Remember 2 weeks ago, after Indiana squeaked one against Penn State, we bumped Texas A&M up. Right last week, after Texas A&M squeaked one against South Carolina, we bumped Indiana back up into the 2 and 3 spot. After A&M beat Samford and Indiana was on a bye, we left them at the same. All right, let's go to number 4, or number 3 right there, A&M. Number 4, obviously being Georgia. Everybody ran chalk right there. Ohio State beat the shit out of Rutgers. Indiana was off. A&M played Samford. Georgia played Charlotte. So there is that. Number 5, we left the same. Texas Tech was on a bye.
Before we get too far into the rankings of that,
are
Ohio State and Indiana going to be guaranteed for first-round buys, or is that whoever wins the Big Ten is getting that bye?
No. I think they're guaranteed. If you go into the conference championship weekend inside that top 4, I do not think they will punish you.
Really?
Kirby, we had precedence for this last year. We did. They flip-flopped Georgia and Texas, right? Texas was 3 going into the SEC championship game. Georgia was 5. Georgia won and got the 3 seed. Texas got the 5 seed.
I want to say Texas was 2 and Georgia was 6.
So they did drop Texas out of a first-round bye.
Correct.
After the conference championship. I only bring that up because, look, these are new committees every single year. They're supposed to be. So we have no idea what they're going to do. I think it's a great point bringing it up.
Texas got dropped because last year it was auto bids. If you won your conference, you got a first-round bye.
That's true. You're right. This year it's straight seeding. So maybe this year we see Indiana stay inside that top 4 and get that first-round bye. Number 6, we put Oregon above Ole Miss. And here's why. All right, here's how I think they should do this. I don't know how they do this as there's 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter, which is insane to me because there's billions of dollars that move up and down based off these decisions. And we really have no true gauge as to how they go about deciding these 12 teams. We just get the yahoo in front of the media guys. They ask him a bunch of questions. He talks himself in circles, and we all make fun of the guy. So we don't know anything about what they got going on in the room. But here's how we would do it. Real quick and simple. Christian Kirby, Oregon and Ole Miss play on a neutral site today. Who you picking?
Oh, that's actually a tough question. I'm going to lean Oregon because I like what their defense does against the pass. And I feel like they have a competent enough offense to get points, especially against an Ole Miss defense. So I'm going to say Oregon, but it's not black and white.
Same thing. I'm picking the Oregon Ducks in that matchup if it were to happen tomorrow. So for that reason, we ranked Oregon 6 and we put Ole Miss 7. They have they have the exact same record, but they have relatively similar resumes and all that good stuff in terms of keynote wins. And at number 7, we have Ole Miss, which makes Oklahoma at number 8. Look at us respecting the head-to-head matchup right there. Ole Miss over Oklahoma. In at number 9, we had the Crimson Tide right there.
That's probably going to be
the controversial one.
Well, it's not only that, it's going to have to get ironed out because you don't want these two teams to play in a rematch come,
Yeah.
Now there's no.
Oh, you think they're going to do some of that? You think there's some, hey, let's avoid rematches and seeding? I pray to God there's none of that nonsense. We can't be worried about, we got a rematch first round. Bullshit. You got straight seedings. Rank them how you feel they are ranked and let the chips fall where they may. Don't be out here, we got 2 SEC teams facing off. We need to make one of them 7 and the other one 9 so they don't play each other. That's fugazi.
And plus, on top of all that, also, Alabama still right now is in line to play in the SEC championship. there's a lot more opportunity for them to move up in the rankings. Whereas Oklahoma, eight's kind of where it's going to stay unless someone in front of you loses.
Now, look, we are Alabama over Notre Dame people, all right, on this channel for this point and this reason at this point in the season. Keynote wins. We are who you beat, not who you lost to an extent around here. So it's not always a 100% consistent. It's never going to be, all right? But again, pick them tomorrow, Alabama or Notre Dame. I'm leaning Alabama. Who are you leaning?
I'm going to go Alabama.
All right, so for right now, let's put Notre Dame in there at 10, which makes the number 11 seed the ACC champ. We have no earthly idea.
We gave up on even naming a team at this point.
I mean, if you want to watch someone have an aneurysm live on television, try to explain to me the ACC championship possibilities. My brain will explode. I can't explain it. I can't understand it. I can't retain it. Just tell me who you sorry sacks got as a champion. We'll decide whether or not they're worthy of a college football playoff. Number 12, Navy. Still got to go win their conference championship game, though, but they are in line to do so. I know Tulane was ranked the highest-ranked non-P5 team last week, but they're not in line to win their conference championship. Navy is. So we put Navy in here at number 12. Does that make sense?
Makes sense for me.
What's chat blowing us up about? They got any beefs?
No, I think they're just kind of talking about, typical,
Oh, yeah, you forgot we have no camera 2, huh? Or camera 1, big boy, huh?
Damn.
Yeah, shout out to the toddlers taking out camera 1.
Muscle memory got me.
You know who is saddest about that?
Who?
Most sad about camera 1 being out? My man Daniel Bramlett, executive producer for the Paul Feinbaum show.
Oh, yeah.
He loves the desk walk. He loves to get up, show camera 1, walk over to the board. Here's what we got for you today, Paul.
It's a good, little free, or not free, but showcasing of the studio.
Showcasing of the studio. I mean, us and Inside the NBA and Sports Center are about the only places that have
Smith running to the board.
That type of capabilities. I mean, Pat McAfee in the Thunderdome shooting some hoops, but other than that, man, ain't a lot of whole people doing what we do around here.
Nah, no one does it like us.
That's right. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and review. And it's time to linger. We got a minute and 13 seconds.
We have not
Kirby,
talked about Lane yet.
We haven't. Let's get your opinions on this. I haven't pinned you down on this and gotten your thoughts on what you think Lane Kiffin should do. Yeah, hey, yo. What are your thoughts, man? Should Lane Kiffin leave Ole Miss?
Lane Kiffin's goal is obviously to compete for national titles and to win a national title as a head coach. If that is your ultimate goal, which I think it is, you should probably look at LSU in Florida. I think the opportunities there are going to be more bountiful. I think that the programs have a higher prestige. I don't think that's that black and white of an answer, however. If I'm looking at what this LSU board of decision makers has done and what the governor is doing and the way this fan base is acting, the way that they're basically like pitchforks and knives and we're not going to pay too much money for a coach. We're going to blah, 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 blah. It's kind of a mess right now in Baton Rouge. And frankly, it's been a mess since 2020 when Ed Orgeron was there. There has not been a lot of stability within LSU. There has not been a lot of, consistency, not just from the team, but from all of the higher-ups within that program. That doesn't make me feel good. I know it's a great program with a rich history that has a really good radius to talent. There's no one else in that state that's going to necessarily compete with you that's within that state. So I don't know. On the flip side of that, the Florida Gators, also a team that has more opportunity. You're in Florida, for God's sakes. You have more opportunity to win national titles. It's a team that has won 2 in this past 20 years. My thing on that then becomes, look at what this program has been the last 15 years.
Yeah, why hasn't it worked for the last 4 down there?
It has been treading water. It has been very, very bad. It has been running coaches out left and right. I think they're going on their 4th head coach since Urban Meyer left. So the incentive for me would be, I don't know who I would pick. I feel like these 2 teams have a higher ceiling, but at the same point, what I've built here at Ole Miss seems a little better. Now, on the adverse of that, I just shook the foundation of my fan base, of my boosters, of everyone around me with what I've done and the way I've conducted this coaching search to where I've kind of burnt a lot of bridges in Oxford from what I've seen, which is why.
Have you seen that video of Adam Sandler in Big Daddy or Happy Gilmore where he's talking to his girlfriend on the intercom system? He's like, fine, get out.
Yeah.
Nobody wants you anyways.
Yes.
I'm just kidding, baby. It's like Ole Miss fans right about it.
Yeah.
Every time I see them interacting on the internet, it's like, Lane Kiffin can get his ass out of here. No one really cares. How dare you make yourself bigger than the program? Please, baby, don't leave. I'm seeing it both ways from those guys out there at Ole Miss.
And if I could talk to Lane Kiffin at the start of the season, be like, hey, dude, listen, LSU is going to come available. Florida's going to come available. You're going to be at the top of their board both ways. Whatever you do, don't act like Lane Kiffin throughout this process. Don't troll fan bases. Don't go on these, innuendo Twitter posts, and don't rile up people, and don't make this such a dramatic scene that you are going to piss off two fan bases no matter where you go.
Kirby, don't know if you know, but Knox Kiffin told the Fortnite lobby last night he's going to LSU.
Like stuff like
That's
that.
That's breaking
man.
news.
Like what?
Letting your son wear LSU headphones pregame at Oxford High School.
I mean,
stuff
look,
like that.
If he goes to LSU, all the hints were there. Obviously, it seems like it's kind of leaning that way. But again,
by the way, this basketball game is about to go into overtime.
Oh no!
Yeah, oh yeah. Which honestly, not mad about, because it just brings more people over here, and I'm okay with that. I would rather you sit here and listen to us debate whether or not Lane Kiffin should go to Ole Miss or LSU or Florida. All right, so that's what you think he should do. Me personally, it's two different types of discussions. I will make this very, very relatable for the last time. And I don't really like talking about my journey, because my journey is my journey. It's not everybody's journey. It's not the path that everybody should take. It's the path that I've chosen. Sobriety is important to me. I gave up alcohol back in February. I talked about this on Sunday, or February, 2.5 years ago, 3 years this February. Would not do anything, would not take a single solitary job, would not take any type of opportunity, would not leave anywhere if I thought it was going to sacrifice the sanctity of my sobriety. All that being said, I think I got that sobriety thing covered. Honest to God, I have no anxiety ever about maybe one day this will be the day I wake up and have a drink. It ain't never happening again. It's just not. I've conquered that one. That stone is gone for me. I have no inhibitions to ever do it again. I feel like I could, if I were in Lane's shoes, I would chase career excellence, because I feel like, me personally, I am stable enough to do so. He needs to have that conversation with his internal self. All right. Is happiness and where I'm at right now mentally in my place, is this repetitive? Is this repeatable down there in Baton Rouge? If so, we take the job because we're ready to take the job. I don't know if that would have been the case with him having left Florida Atlantic University. I don't think that version of Lane Kiffin is ready for Baton Rouge and to be 45 minutes away from Bourbon Street. All right, but if you feel like you got this sucker conquered, buddy, you need to go conquer the football world that is national titles at a grasp every single year. Kirby, I know we have talked about this a lot, and it sounds really, really demeaning to Ole Miss fans that have dedicated a lot of resources to that football program and to love what they got going on right now. But I feel like if I were a head football coach or a coach on that staff right now, I would feel like we did backflips and magic tricks to get to 11-1.
Right.
Honest to God. And as we go to 9-game conference schedules, getting to 10 wins at Ole Miss, considerably harder than getting to 10 wins at LSU.
It's definitely true. And there's definitely the avenue of, man, this program we've seen it. LSU is one of the most prestigious programs in college football over the last 20 years. They've been coached by Nick Saban. They've been coached by some major figures. For God's sakes, I think we can all say that they have one of the greatest college football teams of all time in 2019. Like, the prestige is there. It's understandable. The ceiling is definitely higher at LSU, but you're going to be starting 3 floors lower when you get there. And I think that's going to be something interesting. And whether or not you get all the resources, whether or not you get all the backing and the support from the outside that will allow you to climb up to the top and reach the penthouse and make LSU everything it can be.
I just want to give a round of applause. Look, I'm not taking a shot at nobody else, but I'm a competitive human being. I'm a very competitive human being. There's a very large national platform right now doing the same thing we're doing right now. We got about 800 more people on YouTube watching. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rating, reviewing, all that good stuff. If you are brand new to the network, we do this every Monday through Thursday, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We're live on Sundays at noon as well, with what I would argue to be the best reaction show in all of college football on the internet as well. Shout out to you guys in the chat. What are some dwindling topics that we can talk about right now as this 30 seconds of round ball concludes before it potentially goes into overtime?
All right, so we kind of know what the top 7 or 8 is going to look like.
Yeah.
Which teams do you think are actually capable of running through that bracket,
dude,
winning a national title.
What teams are actually capable of winning a national title? So if I were an odds maker, right, this is how I would stack it. Ohio State, in this order.
Understandable.
Ohio State, Georgia,
Uh-huh.
Notre Dame, A&M, off to the side, think you can do it, very skeptical of it happening, Bama and Oregon.
So you have Bama and Oregon on the same plane.
And here's why. Here's the statute to be able to be, for my opinion, thought of as an actual national title contender. Can you go win 4 or perhaps 5 of these football games in a row? Can you go beat 4 of the nation's 12 teams, best teams in a row? I don't know if anybody other than those teams I just listed can actually go do that. And there's a recipe for this, man. I feel like you have to have blue chip status rosters. I feel like you have to have recruited at the high school level, at a top 12 level for 4 straight years. You got to have so much depth that if JT Tuamaloau goes down with an ankle injury, a high ankle sprain, it's okay. KJ Jackson or Kenyatta Watson or whatever his name is, Big 97, we'll just play him. Oh, the Curry kid was a top 100 player. We'll just play him. Like, there are only so many programs that have this type of resources, and that's the type of resources required to win these types of games over and over and over again.
So how come you don't have Indiana on that list? Because I mean,
what I just talked about, I don't think Indiana can go win 4 top 12 matchups in a row.
Okay.
I think somebody's going to get them 29-27.
I mean, it's fair. It's you have to wonder, and I'm not accusing you of that.
Kirby, a good portion of the roster was playing at JMU 2 years ago. I don't mean to take stabs.
No,
I'm just being honest.
Totally get what you're saying.
Aiden Fisher's a great football player. He's not Sonny Styles. You know what I mean?
No, and
it's a different breed.
You're making 1,000% valid points. I think it's unfortunate, though, that what you are saying will be taken as he's looking at that Indiana logo. He doesn't believe in it. This team has passed everything with flying colors. They're undefeated right now. They're 11-0. They're probably going to be 12-0 by the time they get to conference championship week. Would you change your tune on that if they beat Ohio State, though? If they can come out of there 13-0, they're probably going to be the number 1 seed.
If you beat Ohio State, you can win a national title this year because I think that's what it's going to be required to do. Okay. So I think Ohio State, again, I said it about a week ago. Give me Ohio State versus the field. I'll take Ohio State. That's the way I feel right now about that machine that they got going. But I think we'll find out what they are offensively a little bit more this weekend because this is the best defense they've played all year. You know,
I personally don't have Alabama in my list because
Seton Hall better not make this shot, or it better be a 3-point bucket. One or the other.
I personally don't have Alabama in my list for the reasons that I think
can't run the ball.
That exactly. It's
college football playoff committee hack.
Not even that, that's unfortunate. I'm going to get accused of that.
Well, that was their only reasoning last week. Alabama can't run the ball, so that's what we're doing now. We're like statistically singling out football teams. That's crazy.
It's not even that Alabama can't run the ball. I think it's that they have such a one-dimensional approach on both sides of the football. We've seen teams run, not at will, but very successfully against Alabama, and Alabama cannot run the football. I don't think that you can one-stop your way to a national title victory like you said. Now, the pushback on this would be they did it against 4 ranked teams in a row in the month of October. What are you talking about? You're crazy.
Yeah.
I think that we've seen the last few weeks – this Alabama team might be running out of steam necessarily. They didn't look great against LSU.
Or running out of magic at the quarterback position. Like, you can't harbor the whole entire weight of the offense for 17 weeks.
That is a much better way to put it. I think Ty Simpson has just kind of run out of, my God, he's playing perfectly.
Yeah.
For them. I mean, Ty Simpson played a flawless football game against Alabama against Georgia. And you can make an argument Alabama should have lost that game.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to buy that Alabama can go on a 5-game or a 4-game run with what they have right now.
I mean, shit, they about got nabbed by South Carolina in the midst of the 4-game run you just referenced.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So this has happened. That they can get nabbed up. That's why I put them in another category of, I think you're good enough. I just don't know. I think Alabama and Oregon are in that kind of secondary category with that right there. So we got a personal foul. Not a personal foul. We got a, what do you call that? A take foul. Foul or free throws. I really know the round ball. Free throws for USC, so they're up 3 with 13 seconds left. Should be getting rankings soon. No, I'm with you. Did we have a different list? I think we had the same exact list in terms of teams
I had
that could win a national title.
We basically did. I moving on though. I think,
you got A&M in it, huh? You believe in A&M now?
What do you mean?
I'm just messing.
I said
trying to rehash
again
debate for the Aggies
again.
fans.
Texas A&M fans. I said that until you guys make the playoffs, I'm not going to declare you a playoff team. It seems like you are making the playoffs at this point. Congratulations, you've made history. So that's my point on that. Hold
on, I want to address something. Mun Dangerous said Brooks is just saying if you're not a blue chip ratio team, you can't win a title, which is like a 24-year-old or 25-year-old axiom. It's basically a fact in college football. And it's become more and more so of a fact nowadays that you just got to have more dudes and got to have the most dudes. You got to have the most depth humanly possible. You got to have the most talented team ever because you got to go play 16 games. And these are college football players. So they have ups and downs. They have bad days. And if you have a bad day on offense and you don't have a really, really deep defense, you're in trouble. And you got to go a month like this, a month and a half. You got to go 6 weeks of playing really, really clean ball. And that means you got to have dudes. I know that sounds crazy, but I would be shocked. It would be a coaching masterpiece if Kirk Cignetti finds a way to win 4 of these games in a row. I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way I feel about it.
And while that definitely does make the predictors for, which teams we think are able to win a national title, I also think that it is very important to note that this does not mean which teams we think are necessarily better for rankings or which teams we think should be ranked higher. I think it is very irresponsible to look at the blue chip ratio to just rely on that for when it comes to rankings.
No. Yeah, it's performance, but when it comes to predictions.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And again, that I just want to reiterate that, like to make sure our stance is known of.
I mean, shit, we put Indiana number 3 and we put Texas Tech number 5, which, by the way, I think Texas Tech's 12 months from being able to be one of these teams.
Yeah.
Texas Tech's got another year of building blue chips. Like, if you look at what they're doing, what they've finished doing in 25 with the OG kid or Felix OG, the left tackle, when you look at what they're doing in 2026, when you look at what they're going to do in 2027, we're like 12 to 18 months from the Red Raiders being in this list of football teams that has a blue chip ratioed roster that can go win 4 of these games in a row. But right now, I think they might struggle,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I feel about it.
We're getting to a point in the season where the games become that much more meaningful. Going to these games becomes that much harder, and getting, relatively reasonably priced tickets becomes basically impossible unless you head over to our friends over at SeatGeek. They have over 70,000 live events. That is not just football games. That is festivals, concerts, you name it, they have it. They are backed by a buyer guarantee, and they have a unique system that helps you find the best deals. They have a green, red, and yellow dot system that lets you know, hey, this is the best bang for your buck here. If you head over there today, we have a promo code for you. It's FilmGuy10 for 10% off your next set of tickets. So that's why would you not, again, do that? Tickets are getting expensive. We all know that, going to a college football game is not as cheap as it once was. SeatGeek is here to help you with that. Use FilmGuy10 to get 10% off any of your next set of tickets. I want to give a thank you to our friends over at SeatGeek.
We love that. We love that. Shout out to our friends at SeatGeek. Every time I see that solo tight shot of you in camera 4, I feel, especially as a night like tonight where we have a bunch of new people watching us, I feel compelled to let the world know that I've been fading myself on best bets this year. So when you see that I'm 12 games under 500, just know that I'm trying to suck, and that's an impressive feat.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some people out here trying to pick them things square, and they're 40 games under 500 right about now.
We should almost just write like a little and trying to fade at this point to kind of get the context for that so people understand.
Or just let people think I'm a loser. That's okay.
If that's what
something's got to humble me around here.
If that's what you want to do.
We can't do the joke anymore about humility.
Yeah, we can't go to camera 1.
Can't go to camera 1 to show the people the big ass sticker of my name on the wall. Anyways, good Lord. Does the round ball take a while?
Yeah, this is one of the.
You guys like this? Y'all like watching this stuff? What is this?
Oh, it's not over yet either.
It's still not over. They just chunked the bitch out of bounds. It's just, God dang.
You would honestly think, though, for something as important as
we can't delay it 46 minutes.
Not even that. Just like we would have a very, very hard set time to say, all right, this is where we're doing it. It doesn't matter if it's going to be on ESPN 1 or ESPN 2. It's going at 6.
I mean, honest to God, the only reason this show's or this game's going to have a ratings bump is because of the college football fanatics wondering where the hell the rankings show is.
And I mean, honestly, shout out to them because it'll.
I mean, the Maui Invitational will get a good bump tonight. Is this what this is? Oh, yep, Southwest Maui Invitational.
Court looks really good as well.
It will. I guarantee you right now, this will be the highest rated basketball game of the week. Guaranteed.
So, trying to figure out another talking point here. Let's do a little what if Wednesday on a Tuesday, since obviously we're not all going to be together in the studio.
Is this college football playoff ranking related what if?
Yeah.
Oh, we like it.
If Ohio State loses to Michigan.
Just trying to miss the free throw and made it.
If Ohio State loses to Michigan again, where do you...
Oh, buddy, I got all kind of questions for you about that one tonight. When we get into predictions. Yeah, we got a whole nother like hour and a half of content after this.
Okay.
We came into this show prepared to vamp for 20 and we vamped for an hour.
Yeah, hey, look at us, man.
I mean, we are professionals.
We are.
We are as good as it gets.
To a T.
I mean, some might say we're better as a tandem than a trio.
I'm not going to do that to Jay, Will.
Look at you.
I'm not going to do
that. What a
teammate.
What a guy
It's
you
my
are.
guy over here, man.
I gave him an opportunity to be a bad teammate, and you chose to be a good man.
It gets lonely over here sometimes.
Attaboy. By the way, we might have to change our YouTube release schedule. That 8:30 premiere is not going to be allowed to happen now.
No, we're going to have to go quick here.
Yeah, we're going to have to go 9 p.m. premiere on that. So let me go change that scheduling on our Georgia Tech What to Expect film study. All right.
We can interrupt this discussion once the rankings do inevitably come out because, I mean, the game is now ended for those who are unaware. But rivalry week is a tumultuous time amongst fan bases.
What a word.
Because you're constantly having to justify which rivalry is better. Is it the Iron Bowl? Is it the game? Which one do you think is better?
Oh, I wanted to save this.
We can.
For actual like predictions for rivalry week as we get done with college football playoff because we're about to be here. So I appreciate the efforts of vamping right there for us, but I want to redirect to the actual questions that the college football playoff committee's got to answer tonight, which is again to refresh for those joining us. What did they do with Oregon's win over USC? Is there room for them to move anywhere? Right? What did they do with Oklahoma's win over Missouri? Was that deemed a quality win? All right. Where are some of these teams like Tennessee ranked? Does Vandy still have a quality win worth bumping them into a top 12 selection? What happens with the non-Power 5? Is Navy the highest ranked non-Power 5 team? Or is it still Tulane, despite the fact that Tulane is outside looking in their own conference? What are they doing with the ACC champ? What is going on with Miami? Where is Notre Dame ranked? All of these things are very, very important. I've said it week over week that I am employing these people to please give me rankings 1 through 40 because I really, really need to know how you think some of these how good do you think Louisville is? How good do you think SMU is? Those teams that may not be ranked tonight, how good are they? How good do you think Iowa still is? Because everybody's plotting that Iowa win out there in Big Ten country. Like, where do you think the actual full totality of the sport is? That's important to me. They'll never give it to us.
Here's a question that we can answer really quickly. Do you think it would be more productive or counterproductive to whenever these people have a meeting, whenever they are watching games, whenever they are sitting down at desks discussing who's going to get the 8th spot, who's going to get the 9th spot, just live stream it? And just,
oh, God, that would be a catastrophe.
That's what I was wondering.
We would find out just how flawed those people are in their actual knowledge of ball. But it would be full transparency. We need that. I mean, but that's like asking the SEC to show me the review booth.
I think, do it. I think that would more be like finding out how the hot dogs are made of.
Yeah.
You know too much now.
Yeah, it's probably a good way to put it.
I've lost all faith in this system.
Now, if you put me, Josh Pate, the Big Ten megaphone, Joel Klatt, and whoever you wanted in a room, you could live stream that. We'd go at it. And that's what I think you should do. You should have an SEC hack like me, a Big Ten hack that's uncommitted to admitting that he's a Big Ten hack like Joel Klatt, and then an everybody guy, which is Josh Pate. Everybody loves Josh Pate. Just put him right there in the middle, and then me and the Big Ten hack go at it, and then we can have Eric McLean try to act as if the ACC is noteworthy.
Who do you think's walking out of there if that turns into a brawl?
Oh, I mean, a brawl?
Yeah.
I think I got Pate. I don't think I'm taking McLean.
Ooh.
Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's still out here deadlifting 575 for reps. I'm good. Miss me.
Yeah, no.
I'm good, dude. But I think overall, I'd grit my way through the Pate one. You know, it's all biceps and chest. Just got to get him to the ground. I'll be all right.
Man. But yeah, no, I do think that would kind of really hurt the faith that we have. But again, the faith is so dwindling at this point that, hell, maybe figuring out what exactly is going down when they decide to rank this team ahead of this team would be a little bit more beneficial instead of saying, why'd you do that? And then giving, let me just look at my notes and try to pick a statistic that'll make it seem like we can justify this.
It should be noted. I know a lot of the people that are watching us right now are watching us. They don't have the audio tuned into the actual broadcast. This poor sorry sack from Arkansas is going to have to come up here and defend his rankings and defend their rankings. And he's going to talk himself into circles. They all have for the last, we've been doing this 10 years. All right, here we go. Number 25, Arizona. They were not ranked a week ago. They are now inside the top 25. They will play Arizona State this weekend, Friday night, 10:30. Tulane is the highest ranked non-P4 team. They're at 24. I didn't see what 23 was. They're already cutting to us.
Georgia Tech was 23.
Georgia Tech was 23. Get us back to those rankings, please. I know they're being really, really quick right now, I would imagine. But yeah, Arizona hops up in the top 25. Pittsburgh in at number 22. And SMU in at number 21. SMU, after beating Louisville last week, jumped outside of the top 25 into the 21st overall ranking.
And I mean, Pitt did the same thing.
Yeah.
And it feels like the committee's doing that, in my opinion, to kind of avoid there's no one ranked in the ACC right now.
Arizona State comes in at number 5. They jumped up 5 spots
number 20.
After their win. 20, excuse me. Number 19, Tennessee. So we'll see wherever Vandy's ranked versus number 19 this weekend in Vandy versus Tennessee. I think I saw USC in at 17. I didn't peek that in number 18 ranked football team. Did you?
18.
How do you get beat by 17 points and only drop 2 spots?
They're just they've done that a lot. Like USC has just kind of been a steady.
18, Virginia, Texas in at number 16. So Texas moves up 1 spot, but they really didn't move. Didn't they just leapfrog Georgia Tech?
Pretty much, yeah.
So they didn't really move after scoring a lot of points against Arkansas. Michigan moves up 13 points. They beat Maryland last week. They beat Northwestern.
Northwestern
Big Ten can.
Was the week ago.
They beat Maryland.
Michigan's up to 15, yeah.
Yeah, Michigan's in at 15 after winning at Maryland. I don't understand that USC at 17 one. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like if you get handled like that in the second half of a football game on the road, you should drop considerably less than that. But I think Christian, all they're doing is ranking win categories, loss categories. For the 5th straight week, we've got all the undefeateds, all the 1 losses, all the 2 losses, all the 3 losses. They don't give a shit. They're not out here actually deciphering it. They're just putting the wins and losses into pools and then deciding who they think is better in those. That's honest to God. Until we see one of these record breaks, I believe that's all they're doing. Vandy sticks at 14 after putting up 45 points on Kentucky. That tells me I don't think Vandy's got a shot, Christian.
I mean, they need a lot of help. They need Alabama to
They
lose.
can't just win out.
No,
it's
you need help.
not just beat Tennessee and you're in, and that sucks.
Which is unfortunate because, I mean, they handled a lot of the business that was put in front of them. It sucks that, I mean, LSU was a top 10 win when you beat them. They are terrible now. South Carolina was a top 15 win. They're bad now, so Utah drops 1.
13. This is just it's ridiculous. They are not the 13th ranked football team in the country. Miami moves up 1 spot to number 12 over Utah.
So Miami and Utah switch spots, basically.
I think Utah should be below Michigan, honestly. I think Utah should be 16th, 17th.
So right now, Miami is technically the 2nd team out because whoever's in the ACC is behind them.
All right.
That's what's going to be very interesting for Miami is that you are going to finish the year somewhere at the 11th or 12th spot and then subsequently get pushed out by teams that are ranked 10 spots behind you because you didn't win your conference championship. That's what it's setting up for, and that's going to be bad.
I don't think you should get an automatic bid in your conference championship unless you're a top 15 ranked team.
I don't hate that.
That's my new take. That's Bud Elliott's take, by the way. Number 11, BYU in at 10-1. They're setting up for I really want to know what they do with BYU if they lose again to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship.
I mean, they're out.
Do you think it's a one bid conference? Here's a bigger question for you, Kirby. What happens if BYU beats Texas Tech by a field goal late?
I think BYU's in, and then you got to find a spot to wedge Texas in and push
Texas
out one.
Tech, you mean?
Yeah, excuse me, and push out one of these other 10 teams.
Alabama.
Maybe.
That's why I told you last week. You kept talking about it's not a big deal if you win, you're in, and we kept talking about the debate between Bama and Notre Dame and quality wins versus quality losses. And everybody says, "Don't worry, if you win, you're in." Not the case. If BYU beats Texas Tech, you're going to sit at home on Selection Sunday sweating your ass off as Alabama comes in at number 10.
Win the ACC, then you're fine.
I'm talking about
win the SEC. Win the SEC, and then you're fine. And
win
Texas,
the SEC and you're fine.
Texas A&M doesn't have to worry about this at all.
Yeah, go beat the number 3 team in the country in a conference championship game, and you'll be all right. Yeah. Number 9, Notre Dame, in at number 9. Now, Notre Dame has one quality win, and it's USC. They have 2 quality losses, and that is their resume. I'm not a resume guy with them. I believe they're one of the 12 best teams in college football. I don't have a problem with them. My problem is the fact that at the end of this, they're going to tell me the 24th ranked Tulane team who doesn't have a chance to win their conference title and got beat by 22 points on the road at UTSA and got beat by 35 points by Ole Miss. The fact that we're going to bump out one of these actual noteworthy teams that has earned the right to be inside the top 12, we're going to bump them out for a charity case. That's my problem. I ain't got no beef with none of the Notre Dame stuff. My problems with the non-G4, my problems with the ACC, my problems with automatic bids to conferences that we know are not very good. Number 8, Oklahoma in at 9-2. They got a good resume, man. I also think they're a year ahead of schedule. I said this on Sunday's show. Do you feel the same way that next year is the window for Oklahoma, that they are still a very flawed football team that has managed to be a 10-win SEC team?
I mean, hell, we came into this year saying that we said this midway through the season when it looked like they might falter off after that Texas loss of like, hey, it's okay. Things are still looking up for next year. And
like I'm at the point where because of their defensive excellence, if I had a vote for Coach of the Year, I might give it to Brent Venables. Number 7.
Oh, so
Miss.
They did do it.
So they did drop them. They did put Oregon over Ole Miss this week, which I'm okay with. Ole Miss fans will not be. They lost the bye, and Oregon won against a team that apparently the committee thinks is really, really good. The committee thinks USC is really good, despite the fact that they lost to a really bad Illinois football team, despite the fact that they lost to Oregon, and despite the fact that who else beat them? Who else got USC this year?
Oregon, Notre Dame, and
Notre Dame and I just mentioned though.
Sorry, I'm trying to do like 3 things.
Yeah, I know we're all trying to do a lot.
So this is
Illinois, Notre Dame, and Oregon. Those are the 3 losses.
This is an interesting precedent now, though, because it tells you that ranked wins can still move you up.
Texas Tech in at number 5. You would imagine Georgia in at number 4. Texas A&M in at 3. Who's that leave? Indiana at 2 and Ohio State at 1. So that will be your college football playoff rankings today. I'm very curious to see who they presume to win the ACC, who they presume to win the non-P4, and what they do with this mythical bracket that they throw up here that makes no earthly sense. I still don't understand how the College Football Playoff Committee last week told us that Tulane is in the 12-team playoff, despite the fact that Navy was in the driver's seat for that conference. Still makes no sense to me. It's almost as if they don't know their own rules. And still this week, they don't know their own rules. They put Tulane in at number 12. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Will you make sure I'm right on this? Navy is atop those conference standings.
Give me 10 seconds.
Navy just beat South Florida.
The American Conference standings currently have Tulane and North Texas at the top.
Okay.
Navy is not at the top of the conference standings.
All right. I'm an idiot. This guy's dumb. I don't know P4 football as good as I thought I should. Oh, well.
G5,
Tulane,
G5
G4,
football.
whatever. Tulane in at number 12.
Whatever.
I still don't like that. I don't like when we out here like, yeah, the 24th best team in the country. You get a automatic invite so we can avoid a lawsuit.
That's what we've been saying
it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
What we've been saying. I think
So who got screwed there? BYU?
BYU and Miami are getting screwed in that regard.
No, they said BYU is the highest ranked ACC team. See that right there?
Yeah, but they're not winning
based on current CFP rankings. Yeah, but they're not.
But they're not winning their conference.
Yeah.
So the ACC champion would then subsequently jump Miami, which will send them into a frenzy.
Well, win your own conference or get into a conference that don't have these dumbass oversaturated conferences, which they're all to an extent oversaturated now that we've gotten rid of divisions. You know,
it's not divisions. It's that we
put 18 teams in them.
We eliminated one conference and spread them out. Like Texas and Oklahoma, if there was a Big 12 there, that would be a lot better.
They gave my man Dusty Dorvacek time on the college football playoff show. Hell yeah. I think Dusty's one of the best and most underrated in the business.
Shout out to Dusty.
Shout out to Dusty. All right. Do you have any more takeaways on this, or can we actually get into our show now?
Let's get into our show.
Get into our show. We've got predictions for you guys here on a Tuesday. We got a lot to get into. Before we get into predictions, Kirby, it's rivalry weekend in college football. Now, obviously, Oklahoma and Texas don't play on this weekend. It is considered one of the best rivalries in college football. In your opinion, what's the best rivalry? Who has the claim for the best rivalry and why?
So it's a very interesting situation because I feel like when you get into this, it always comes down to two. It's always the game or the Iron Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the South. I have family that's Alabama fans. I have a better understanding of what the Iron Bowl is. And I feel like the Iron Bowl has given us many more iconic moments in college football. The grave digger, the kick six, things like that go, oh my God. The comeback, legendary moments. That said, it feels like when Michigan and Ohio State are playing on the field, there is more hate. There was no better example of this than last year when a brawl started because they planted the Michigan flag on the Ohio State logo. The Iron Bowl gets more hate from the fan bases. The Harvey Updike story, Auburn and Alabama fans hate each other. When those two teams are playing on the field, I don't necessarily feel that hate and that vigor as much as I do when when Ohio State and Michigan are playing. So for that, I'm going to say on field, the rivalry is probably the best rivalry. That said, fan bases, it goes to the Iron Bowl.
They have Heather Dinich in a hotel lobby.
Is that a hotel lobby? No,
I've never seen an ESPN studio that looks like that. That looks like a hotel lobby.
That's a green screen behind.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's an interesting choice of green screen for Heather Dinich. I'm sure they're up there debating Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Miami. ESPN just reported what? Notre Dame beats Miami in strength of record, FPI, and record versus college football playoff teams. Here's the very peculiar thing, okay? And again, it's why I am such up in arms with these 12 yahoos deciding who gets this. ESPN just showed you their strength of records metrics. We have no idea. Those are ESPN's strength of records metrics. We have no idea what metrics they're using inside the college football playoff committee. We don't know if they're using some Twitter account. I had a random Twitter account with 14,000 followers that has an analytical model that claimed to me in my mentions the other day that they're the strength of schedule model that the college football playoff committee uses.
Oh boy.
There is no known, this is the company we have. This is what we use. So yeah, ESPN just flashed a graphic. That's ESPN's graphic. That ain't what the committee's sitting in there weighing over. We have no idea what they're weighing over. That's my problem. That's my huge problem with this. Back to the rivalry weekend discussion. For me, it is the game. And I'm an SEC hack. I am. But that game up there between Michigan and Ohio State is far more evenly matched on an annual basis than Alabama and Auburn ever is. That Michigan-Ohio State battle does not feel like big bro, little bro. It 100% feels like that between Auburn and Alabama. And Auburn fans can hate me for saying that, but it is what it is. Some might, go, devil's advocate there and say, well, doesn't that mean it's an even better rivalry because one little bro ends up giving big fights to big bro? I don't necessarily think that to be the case. Also, the game normally, prior to the 12-team playoff expansion, it had way more weight to it every single year. Way more weight. Not just can Auburn ruin Alabama's season either. It was which one of these teams is going to go on and play for the national title.
Yeah, it's been that way the last 5 to 6 years. I think we are kind of blocking out.
We got revisionist history. Ohio State thump them for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, let me go back and look at this. Ohio's everyone talks about Michigan's win streak. Ohio State won 19 out of 20 from 2004 to 2019. Yeah, excuse me.
They had a Spurrier type run.
Excuse me. From 2004 to 2019, Ohio State won every game but one.
Yeah, I mean, Lloyd Carr, Rich Rod, and the beginning run of Jim Harbaugh. Is that the run of coaches you just explained? In that Michigan beat down?
Yeah.
Era?
So, I mean, 15 years of just beating your head in. And they weren't exactly close matchups. Like Ohio State beat them 42-13 one year, 56-27, 62-39. Like not a lot of like close matchups. So I think that this does also have.
Oh my God, I forgot Brady Hoke.
Yeah.
Brady Hoke coached in Michigan. Oh my God.
So I think that this does have some little brother, big brother. Now, it's kind of switch foots because Michigan's won 4 in a row right now, but this has been a very back and forth rivalry in the sense that one team dominates for a while and then the other team dominates for a while. It's kind of in the sense of like Georgia-Florida-esque.
Let's go. I mean, let's start with the Friday games. I got more questions about that actual rivalry when we get to the Ohio State-Michigan football game. But let's start at the Egg Bowl. Friday at noon, Ole Miss at Mississippi State. I said last night on our preview show that the key in this one is Ole Miss's run defense. Mm-hmm. In the last 2 games, Kirby, Mississippi State has lost by an average of 24 points and averaged 46 rushing attempts.
Oh, they are stubborn.
Yeah.
They do not care. They will run the football.
And my fear in this football game is that it's a 1-score game in the 4th and the dam breaks and Ole Miss can't stop the run. That would be the recipe for a win of Mississippi State finding a way to get this into a 1-score game late.
I think it's also going to involve can you create turnovers?
Yeah.
I think that
defense is bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oof.
Ole Miss is going to score points in this game. You have to steal possessions. I don't think you're going to get stops. I think you have to rely on, hey, we got a fumble here and had a 5-minute touchdown drive after that. Or, hey, we got a nice pick and we're really in a good position now. I think that's how you stay within striking distance, like you said, to where that dam can burst in the 4th quarter, because that's what's going to be the key factor for me.
I don't think there's a defensive unit playing more stuff and not doing it well than Mississippi State. They're the opposite of Kentucky. Kentucky is like overmatched every single week on the defensive side of the football. So they just line up and cover 3. And they're just like, this is what I'm going to play for 4 quarters. If you beat me by 55 points, that's what you do. Mississippi State, on the other hand, is just like, all right, we're going to play cover 6 this snap. We're going to blitz, play cover 1 this snap. We're going to play cover 3. Here comes some cover 4. They just have no idea what they're like, they have no identity. There's no state of defense that they live in. And that's a problem for them. And it's a problem in this football game. What's an X factor for you? For me, it's the weaponry at Mississippi State. Brennan Thompson, Anthony Evans. Can they find ways to get vertical? I think team speed in the secondary group for Ole Miss is a real concern in this football game. We were scared about it from Georgia analyst standpoint with the Blue Chippers. They got it cornered, let alone what Ole Miss is rolling out there on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I have Trinidad Chambliss for the reason of kind of my key to this game. If he takes care of the football, if he plays on time, if he makes the right throws, Mississippi State's not going to win. There's no avenue for that. However, if we get some turnovers, if we get some mistakes, we've seen him throw some interceptions here lately. Things could get interesting.
I got an unless it doesn't happen for you in this football game.
Oh, I got one too.
Kewan Lacey just went for what, like 240 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Against Florida. We just told you, Mississippi State uber committed to running the football.
Uber.
400 yards of rushing total in this football game in the Egg Bowl. Explosives galore while running the rock. You heard it here first.
I like that. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. 2 defenses that haven't been really good all season. A lot of explosives, a lot of chunk plays, a lot of opportunities for points to be scored. And I think that is exactly what we're going to get. Give me both teams scoring over 35 points in this matchup. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Ooh, we got a 70 over?
Yeah.
Is that what you just hit?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tasty. I got Ole Miss winning this football game 34-24.
I got Ole Miss 41-37.
So you really hammering the points, huh?
Yeah, I need to see something exciting, man.
It randomly broke out into a defensive battle last year.
You know what? It usually does.
Isn't that weird?
It usually is like 2 offenses that come in pretty high powered and then just neither of them can move the football.
But you don't think that'd be the case this year?
Unless it doesn't happen.
I like it. All right. We're both on Ole Miss. Let's move on to the Friday night foosball game. as the Texas Longhorns host the Texas A&M Aggies out there in Austin, Texas. A&M, a perfect 11-0, Kirby. They've won in every form and facet. Texas playing some of their best football on the offensive side of the football as of late. What are your keys in this football game?
The key to this matchup for me applies to both teams, and it is which one of these.
By the way, I turned the broadcast off, but chat's telling me the committee chairman just made a 6-7 joke. I'm done.
I'm glad J. Will's not here.
I'm done with the committee.
It's a good thing J. Will's not here because he might actually just stormed out. He might start tearing apart the studio if you heard that.
Jay will vacate. Jay will check out if that happens.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Jay will rage. But going back to what I was saying, this matchup goes down to one thing for me. Which one of these quarterbacks plays more like a hero? Now, that favors Texas A&M because the parts around them are a little bit better for Marcel Reed. Arch has kind of had to play like a hero the entire season and has been to no avail for some big matchups. But I think that whichever one of these quarterbacks comes out and has the better day is who's going to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it last night. And I don't know if A&M fans feel this way. I said this on Tex Ags today. Like, will y'all just RPO and run the football to a 2-score lead? Like, stop doing we got to progress the pocket passer in Marcel Reed. No, you don't. No, you don't. Do the K-State offense that Colin Klein loves and is really, really comfortable with. Get into RPOs, get into running the football, QB run, involve his legs, get him comfortable, get a 2-score lead. Then y'all can throw the football. In my opinion, the reason Marcel Reed has 11 interceptions is because I would venture to say 9 of those 11 or 8 of those 11, let's make a much friendlier fraction. 8 of those 11 interceptions have been this exact example of what I'm talking about. Speed rushers get up the field. Marcel Reed has to climb the pocket. We have a left to right or a right to left breaking route. We have to throw the ball over the middle of the field after climbing the pocket. We airmail the football. It tips off somebody's fingertips. The safety intercepts the ball. That's like 90% of this dude's interceptions. And it's all, in my opinion, from let's try to make sure he progresses as a quarterback, or you're in 3rd and 12. The game plan is always to avoid 3rd and 12. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The best way to do that is on 1st and 2nd down. Dude, just spray it out to the flats, run the football, get into 3rd and 2s, convert chains. You'll win the football game. I wholeheartedly believe that for those guys. Now, on Texas' side of the football, we've been talking about it for weeks about how they need to condense their route sets, how they need to stop driving routes 25 yards downfield before they're available to even be thrown to, getting into these heavy 7-man pass protections off play action, quarterbacks having to hold the ball for 3.5 seconds before anything even develops from point of snap. About half of that and then half college offense. Can y'all continue to be a little collegey? I felt like they were last week against Arkansas to the betterment of their offense. They moved the rock really, really well last week through throwing the football and not having to do so, driving it down the field.
Mm-hmm. And it helps when Arch Manning is breaking tackles he was breaking and hitting the deep shots that he had been hitting in that game.
Dude is so big, so physical. He shucks off grown men inside the pocket at a much higher rate. You know what I compared it to on Sunday's show? It's a lot. It reminds me a lot of like watching Caleb Williams in the pocket, where we have a defensive lineman just wrapped around our torso and we're just going to kind of sling it like that and he's going to go flying.
It reminds me of an athletic Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay. Yeah. Because
like,
Caleb's twitchy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels that way. It feels like if Caleb ran a 40, he'd run 4.58. It feels that way. Whereas, Arch might be a 4.68 runner.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you. Maybe Josh Allen's a good comp there.
Maybe, yeah.
His physicality and his ability to be an athlete.
I like that.
He's not as big as Josh, though.
No.
He's not even as big as Ben, obviously.
Right.
Not even from a height standpoint. I think Ben's like 6'5", isn't he?
I think so.
Arch is probably 6'3.25". But big dude shucks people off at a really, really high rate. What is your X factor in this football game, Kirby?
It's the Texas O-line. How comfortable does Arch Manning feel throwing in the pocket, having time? Does he have time to deliver? Because if he does, we've seen he can dice up some defenses. He plays good football. If not, he's going to be on the run all night. He's going to be having to make hero plays. That's typically what leads to turnovers, and that's probably what's going to be Texas' demise. So the offensive line for the Longhorns is going to be my X factor.
You've watched Georgia's game plan against Texas 3 times over now. They play a lot more man-to-man coverage against Texas than Texas is used to because they feel like they can cover those guys.
Yep.
I think A&M thinks they can cover them.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
I think A&M is going to play 2-man the entire football game. That's what it's going to be.
You think they'll bring a 5-man front?
Yep. I think they rush 5, drop 2 safeties, play man-to-man across the board. And that will be, and unless they're in like, maybe 3-by-1, they might play Meg to the field or to the X receiver and then zone the trips, which is what a lot of teams do, is cover 7 essentially.
Yep.
They'll revert to that. But I think the teams that know or believe that they can cover Texas give them real problems because they add boxes, they add hats to the box, and they rush 5. The teams that Texas has been able to protect against, like, guys, last week, Arkansas was rushing 3, dropping 8 on like 65% of passing downs. That's not what it's going to be this weekend. Arkansas didn't feel like they could keep you in front, dropping 8, and they still couldn't keep you in front. I bet there are going to be snaps on Saturday where A&M feels compelled to play cover 0 because they think they can get after you. By the way, I'm not saying that they think you're that. They think everybody's that. Watch A&M. They leave those corners on islands, man, and they get after the Q. I think it's a pretty aggressive matchup and dangerous matchup for Texas considering their deficiencies on the roster. The X factor for me is wide receivers after the catch for Texas. All right, they have created massive chunks the last 4 games. It would have had one against Georgia if Ryan Wingo doesn't slip on the Delta paint over there.
Shout out to Delta.
Shout out to Delta. Shout out to the paint. Slipped all. I mean, there's an alley right there. He's probably got 30 yards to start the damn ball game. Had a chunk to start the football game last week. Had a chunk against Mississippi State. Had a chunk against Vandy. They went to the door. You better get ready to tackle these dudes in the flat. That's the X factor for me. Can those guys make plays against this A&M defensive back unit out in space? What do you got for me on unless it doesn't happen, Christian Kirby?
We talked about which team's going to play like more, which team's quarterback's going to play like more of a hero. Give me both of them doing it. Give me both Marcel Reed and Arch Manning throwing for over 300 yards in this game.
Damn it!
I'm just projecting the want to just see some exciting college football matchups.
Not good enough. 1 up. 650 yards of total passing in this football game. You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen.
I'll ride with that. I'll
ride with that. 325 apiece.
325 each.
Don't give it to them. What if it's one of those like NFL games where there's a shitload of yardage but not a bunch of points? Because the defense is just build a wall.
It won't be as exciting of a matchup, but it'll still be great.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Why is that? It just has to be points.
You need points, dude.
Yeah.
The touchdown.
I feel like the flow of the game, and it's got to be tight. That's all I feel. It could be 27-24. But if they're moving that sucker up and down the field, if it feels one score late, if it feels like these offenses are playing good ball, but they're maybe not punching it in the box, I'm okay with it. But if it's just stagnation, move on with that. But I don't think it's going to be that this weekend. I think they're going to get after it over there. Very curious to see if A&M's defense travels. They've had this. All right. They've had some weird performances on the road this year. Gave up 41 on the road to Notre Dame. Gave up 32 on the road to Arkansas. Very, very peculiar performances on the road defensively. We'll see if they can come out and play tight against Texas. Ultimate score prediction. Look, I said this on TexAgs today. I'll say it again. I'll say this if, on Texas football has me on. I do not bank on one-dimensional football teams. That's not what I choose to do. I don't know what everybody else chooses to do with regards to predictions, but I don't think Texas can run the football against measly SEC defenses. I damn sure don't think they're going to be able to summon a run game in this one. All right, so for that reason, give me Texas A&M 27-24.
Ooh, close one. Give me the Texas A&M Aggies 30 points. Give me the Texas Longhorns 31.
You got A&M Texas beating them, huh?
Again,
you just want to go to that game next week.
That's
what you want to do.
Maybe, dude. The streak in Atlanta must go on. But no, I think that it's too chalk for Texas A&M to, in some of these teams, just have perfect coasting throughs. A&M's a better football team here. There's no doubt about that.
Well,
they've
played better football. Honestly, bar for bar, man for man, if I had a draft, I'd probably draft more Longhorns.
That's fair.
Guys, this is the weirdest thing about this team. Like, it's not weird. It's the reality. They're freaking good. They just they have not gotten the squeeze out of all the juice that is available out there at Texas this year. And maybe it's you. Maybe it's this weekend against A&M. Maybe they summon their best performance. Have they played a full game? Have they played a game where the offense looks really good and the defense looks good for 4 quarters.
Yeah, if you turn
against a quality opponent.
Yeah, if you turn it off in the third quarter of the Vanderbilt game, yes.
Or if you only watch like 3 drives against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Their wide receiver core is a prime example of this. They're just not getting what they ought to get out of those guys. DeAndre Moore, Emmett Mosley, and Ryan Wingo ought to be one of the best trilogies we have in college football. No one feels that way about them. No one. And that's weird. It's weird. It shouldn't be that way. I'm on Texas, or I'm on A&M. He's on Texas. Maybe Stretch will give us the final decision on that one with regards to where the show is. Let's move on to Saturday, Kirby. Big noon kickoff. Going to be at the Big House as Ohio State welcomes, or Michigan welcomes Ohio State out to the Big House at noon. I think it's very, very imperative that this game be played at Michigan. I don't know if they would have a shot in hell out there at Columbus, but I didn't think they were going to win that game last year, and they beat them. Dear God. Last year's win of Davis Warren on the road in the shoe is the definition of this game will always be coin flip. That team lost. Davis Warren beat that team on the road with like 180 yards of total offense. What the hell? Like this is one of the craziest things. Now, here's what I wanted to ask you about this football game, Kirby, because I truly believe there's a mental hurdle here. I think, at least with this regime out there at Ohio State, the last 4 years, they have lost to this Michigan football team. And I felt like last year, more so than ever, they had this problem where they go play Michigan and they try to prove to Michigan that they're this big, bad, bully, tough guy, and we can beat you the way you try to beat us, and we can beat you at your brand of football. And then they get out of their own element. They play into the hand of Michigan. That's how Michigan wants to play. Michigan wants to make this a line of scrimmage, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, possessions, critical downs, turnovers, that kind of game. They don't want to make this a track meet. Why doesn't Ohio State bring the track meet to them when they play this game? Why do they make it do you feel this way? Because I feel this way. When I watch this game, I do not feel as if Ohio State plays their brand of football. They try to beat Michigan with Michigan's brand.
A little bit to an extent. It felt that way last year, and it felt like also Will Howard just wasn't having a great game. In years prior, Michigan just brought the punch to them to where it was like, oh, Ohio State's just not even on the level to physically be able to keep up with this. Like, that's what it seems to me. I think that this year, though, the key factor to me will be, is this Ohio State team what we think they are? Because if the answer is yes, there's no way Michigan wins this football game.
I said about 2 months ago, I didn't think a Big Ten team would score 21 points on this Ohio State defense. It damn sure ain't going to be Michigan this week. Not in my opinion. Not unless you find ways to get short fields. Not unless you find ways to score on defense. Not unless you find ways to score on special teams. I do not feel as if this Michigan Wolverine team can put up 21 offensive points against Ohio State. So that means you got to find a way to win a 17-14 football game. So the X factor and the key, all of that wrapped in one, you better be able to run the damn ball this weekend if you're Michigan.
I have Ohio State's wide receivers as the X factor here. I feel like, those fountains in those parks where you step on one and the other raises up more? Yeah. That's what it feels like covering these Ohio State wide receivers. If you cover Jeremiah Smith, well, Brandon Ennis is going for a bunch now. If you cover Brandon Ennis, guess what? Cardinal Tate's now wide open. Like, it feels like there's just too much to stop. And if they play 80% of what they're capable of, again, I don't see how you don't stop Ohio State from scoring 25 points in this game.
It would be really nice to see this team drug into some deep water in the fourth quarter.
I hope they get it.
I'd like to see some type of DNA, some type of cultural winning traits in this football team in November. I mean, I haven't seen them in a one-score football game since August 30th. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
They have the 52nd ranked strength of schedule, according to FPI, in college football. Their best win right now is Illinois, Texas, August 30th. And then their second best win is Illinois, who just got beat by Wisconsin, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
Ugly.
Yeah. Luke Fickell, all he needed was the tweet of confidence.
That's all he needed, man.
That's it. Now he's rolling. Beat Washington and then turn around and beat Illinois. How about Luke Fickell?
Didn't get Indiana, though.
Didn't get Indiana, though. He played him tight for 2 quarters.
It was close.
Yeah. He gave a 14-13 halftime score.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tweet of appreciation there, AD. Unless it doesn't happen, what do you got for me?
I think Ohio State exercises demons in this game. I think this is they are mad about this. I think Ohio State is up by 2 scores in the first quarter, and they never look back. That's my unless it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I said this last night, and agree with me or disagree with me. We'll look back in 24 months, and we'll say this game was Bryce Underwood's biggest test of his career. And here's why I say this. It's arguably the best team he'll ever play. Could be. Best defense he ever plays, with the least amount of weaponry and help on the offensive side of the football. He will never go into a game as outmatched at the University of Michigan as he will for Saturday in this one. And for that reason, I'm with you. I think the unless it doesn't happen is that Ohio State exercises some demons on Saturday out there in the big house. I think it's going to be a Dave Portnoy leaving early type football game. Maybe questioning Sharon Moore. That's my unless it doesn't happen. Dave Portnoy fires Sharon Moore post-game. You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen.
Give it to me. So I guess we're going to be – I have Ohio State winning 45-21.
Ooh, that's a lot. I've got Ohio State. You think Michigan scores 20 points? I've got Ohio State 34-14.
Yeah, I mean, that's
34-17.
That's 3 drives, maybe 1 short field of, they scored a touchdown today. So
All right, let's move on to the Saturday afternoon football game. Vanderbilt at Tennessee. What you got in this one? What's the keys to the foosball game there?
Vanderbilt at Tennessee is an interesting one for me, and it's not at the same time. It comes down to something very simple. Can Tennessee defensive backs get off blocks and make tackles? We've seen that their coverage is suspect. There's going to be points scored in this game for Vanderbilt. Can you mitigate how many explosives you have? That's the key to this matchup, and I think it favors Vanderbilt right now because we've seen 11 games and Tennessee has not been able to do that.
Tennessee's a terrible tackling football team.
Very bad.
Bad angles, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad matchup for them from an offensive style point or stylistic standpoint from Vanderbilt. That being said, I was really, really impressed by Tennessee's opening script and just the way that they started that football game against Florida. We talked all week last week, Christian, how we felt that was almost like a coaching cultural test. All right, you got 3 losses. The world's telling you got no chance at a college football playoff. I'm in agreement with the world. You lost 3 games against 3 playoff teams, and that sucks. You played them all tight, but your season is quote-unquote done. Your hopes for a playoff is out. You got to go on the road into Gainesville, a place that you haven't won since 2003, and you open up a damn can to start that football game. That was really, really impressive to me. I think it's also the reason why they're favored by 2.5 points in this football game over a team in Vanderbilt that is a 9-2 SEC football team. I think the key in this football game, as always, is going to be eye discipline on the defensive side of the football when you play this Vandy team, but most importantly, tackling. We've already talked about it. If you can't tackle this weekend, you're in trouble. They're going to put up 450 yards total offense on your ass, and then it's going to have to be can we outscore Vandy in our own home? And that's not an ideal situation. I don't want to be doing any of that.
No, you do not.
What's your X factor?
My X factor is Andre Turrentine, one of their leading tacklers in the defensive back room. He and all of the defensive backs for Tennessee have to play a buttoned-up game. Don't miss a tackle. Don't allow for blocks to go longer than they are because if you don't,
Turrentine leads their team in tackles.
He's the leading defensive back in tackles, I believe.
And I bet he's their leading missed tackler.
Probably.
By the way, he wears number 2, and you'll see on Saturday what I'm talking about. The amount of banana angles that dude takes on ball carriers makes me vomit. The amount of times he's running downhill and goes, uh-oh, whoop, now I'm beat. It's scary, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's my X factor there.
X factor to me, little Mike Matthews.
Fair.
I think everybody goes into games. It's like, all right, how do we take away
Chris Brazzell?
How do we Braylon Staley's getting loose? Mike Matthews is the one that can go 4 for 125 when you play this football team, and that's really, really scary. If he's catching the football consistently, he's going to get 100 yards. There's no doubt about it. He's going to get open, and Joey's going to try to hit him. So be very, very aware of that. What's your unless it doesn't happen, Christian?
These are 2 defenses that haven't been fantastic, 2 offenses that have been fairly explosive this year. Give me both teams having a touchdown of 50 yards or more in this game.
I like that. I like that. I like that analysis. Unless it doesn't happen, give me 700 yards passing in this football game.
Oh, wow. They're just throwing it around this weekend.
You know, I mean, Pavia put up 484 against Kentucky.
Yeah.
But if you watch that Tennessee-Kentucky game, I thought Joey Aguilar could have thrown for 700 yards that day if he really felt compelled to do so. So very interested to see how these defensive backs from either of these teams keep things in front of them. Would imagine we see a lot of points this weekend. Where I don't expect a lot of points, the Iron Bowl. As the Alabama Crimson Tide head out to Jordan-Hare on Saturday night to play the Auburn Tigers at 7:30 inside that doom-filled place that is Jordan-Hare. Now, it is the most cliche analysis about this football game. Funky shit be happening at this stadium at night, but it is the truth. Do you subscribe to said theories?
I had a theory earlier this season after Auburn had, what went down with Georgia, that the voodoo might be dead.
Well, they just stink.
But if there was, the things that happened in that game were like, this is anti-Auburn voodoo. But if there were ever a reason to have some Jordan-Hare voodoo, it's this game. And my key to this matchup is kind of adjacent to that. It's what does Auburn still have left up its sleeve? What trick plays do you use? How do you manipulate the different quarterbacks you have opportunities for? What can Cam Coleman do? Do you have, is there this Jordan-Hare voodoo still around? So that's kind of my key to the match, because I think we can all agree that on paper, Alabama should roll.
Sources tell me Deuce Knight not going to play. It's going to be Ashton Daniels, which is why my key to the football game is, can Alabama knock Ashton Daniels out of the game so Deuce Knight can find a way to win this one?
Oh, little backup win.
A little backup, little return favor for all those years they got all these other teams making quarterback switches out there at Alabama. I'm just kidding. I don't know what you prepare for if you're Alabama.
That's the thing.
What offense do you prepare for?
Don't know.
What do you do? You prepare for the defense and hope you score 35?
Half of the tape you have this year is cooked because the head coach got fired.
3/4 of it.
Another third of that is cooked because the quarterbacks are different. Like, there's a lot to break down in this game and not a lot to do. Not a lot to look at.
I mean, there's a lot to prepare for. You don't know what you're going to get. That's a scary situation. And, by the way, the blue chip roster. Like, Auburn's really talented, still really talented. That's what's really scary about him. Cam Coleman is the X factor in every football game he's ever in. That's how good that football player is.
Hell, do the James Franklin, dude. Just throw it up to that guy 10 times and let's see what happens.
He going to come down with 6 of them.
What are we going to do? Lose to Alabama?
I mean, he going to draw 2 PIs and catch 6 of those things, I feel like. So, what's your unless it doesn't happen for this football game, Christian?
My unless it doesn't happen is that Auburn is going to come out and have all of the bells and whistles. This is their Super Bowl. This is the opportunity to eliminate one of your most hated rivals from playoff contention and then end your season. Go out with a win. Say, you know what? We hate Alabama and we have an opportunity to end their season. Sign me up. Give me the Tigers scoring a touchdown within the first minute of gameplay.
Ty Simpson throws 2 first-half interceptions. Alabama is down 10-plus points at the half. Rallies, beats that ass in the second half. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
I like that. It's perfectly in line with Auburn figuring out ways to squander winnable football games. So, and I kind of have it on that. I have Alabama winning this 24-20. I think that it's going to be one of these close games where, Auburn's in a great position to do it, and they just that team has found ways to lose all year. So,
oh shit, we didn't even predict Tennessee and Vandy. We didn't give a score prediction.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
I
got Tennessee winning.
Tennessee 35.
31-28.
35-30.
So we're both on Tennessee?
Yep.
Okay.
Damn, that's on us.
That is on us. My bad. We're in here by ourselves. Jay Will would have corrected us there. Shout out to the chat. That also ruins that sub-episode there.
We can do it again. You want to run it back?
You want to run it back, right? No, I'd rather not. That's on us. Shit.
Was that what we were going to do for the sub?
I mean, we're going to do all of them because it's Tuesday and we're not going to be doing live shows tomorrow. We're not going to be doing live shows Thursday. Yeah, that's a bad production unit right there by me. Damn.
We can run it back.
It's all good. We've also just chopped the Alabama and Auburn sub episode. You know what we can do? We can do a lot of magic editing after this, including cutting this out. Where are we at with this Alabama Auburn X factor? All right, actually, let's start over. What are the keys to the football game in this Alabama Auburn matchup for you?
I know that it's a cliche talk about how much does Jordan Hare voodoo affect this game. That will be a factor here. I think this is also going to go into what does Auburn have left up its sleeve. This is a team that has lost their head coach, lost their play caller, has been cycling through quarterbacks. What do they do in the form of trick plays, new formations, things like that? Because this is their Super Bowl. This is it. You have nothing left to play for. There's no bowl game. There's no postseason. This is the game to play. Dump the clip. What do you have left? I mean, how interesting can you make this game?
I think for me, I mean, it's all about whether or not Alabama can avoid the critical issues that they've had that cost them games. Like, do you become so one-dimensional that the quarterback falters again? Do you become so explosive laden on the defensive side of the football that you're allowing scoring opportunities? All right, do those things. I feel like that's why you've lost football games the last several years. And the only reason you get one-dimensional offensively, you can't either throw the ball or you can't run the ball. And now the defense is teeing off on you in one way or the other. Last year, it was you can't throw the ball consistently without turning the football over, but you could run the piss out of it with the quarterback. This year, can't run the ball to save your life. Now you got to throw the piss out of it. All right. And then the defense starts giving up explosives, scores. That's the key in this football game for Alabama. Can you avoid the problems that have been created on this roster that ultimately lead to losses? I think they find ways to do so in this one. What's your X factor in this football game, Kirby?
It's the Alabama offensive line.
I was about to say, it's always Cam Coleman every time we have an Auburn game. It has been all year.
Understandable, but I think that we've kind of given up on the fact that Alabama's going to run the football, especially against an Auburn defense that, while they haven't had a great season, this defense has played very well. Can they protect Ty Simpson enough? Can they make Ty Simpson comfortable in the pocket so he can deliver strikes? Because when he is comfortable, when he doesn't have a guy in his face, he's really, really good at playing quarterback, turns out. However, we've seen him get heated up at times this season, especially in the last 3 or 4 games, to where the Alabama offense kind of sputters at moments. So if Alabama can protect Ty Simpson, I think they'll be fine.
What's your unless it doesn't happen in this football game? I already did mine. My unless it doesn't happen is that Alabama is down 10-plus points in this first half of this football game due to multiple turnovers from Ty Simpson. They rally and come back and win.
I think this is going to be a moment where Auburn just tries to do something to get some momentum going here. I have the Tigers scoring within the first minute of the game.
First minute?
First minute of gameplay.
First minute of offensive touch.
First minute of gameplay.
Well, you got a 50-50 shot that doesn't happen.
Well, pick 6, scoop and score. It could happen.
Milwaukee. Score prediction. I've got Alabama winning. Let's call it 28-20.
I have Alabama winning 24-20. I think that it's a close game for a while, but this Auburn roster this year has just found ways to lose these types of games, and I don't expect this week to be any different.
Let's hit some super chubs before we get out of here. Flying Hawaiian says, if losses mean more going into the end of the season, does that make Dan's criticism any more relevant? No hated Oregon fan. No hate as an Oregon fan. SEC for real. I think the talk is for recruits. I think the talk is, I'm a Big Ten football coach, so I'm going to hype up the Big Ten. No different than he hyped up the SEC when he was an SEC defensive coordinator. So you placate for the label that you wear. It's just the way it is with these football coaches. But I don't know how the quality losses discussion relates to Oregon, because they're not in a bubble. They're in a very fixed, like, there's fixed incomes and fixed rates. They're in a fixed position right now. They can't move up or down, in my opinion. So they moved into 6. They'll hold their firm the rest of the year. They can't go up. They're not in a Big Ten championship game. They won't go down unless they lose to Washington. They're fine. They are where they are. I don't think it's a quality loss discussion with them. Killtag9978 says the playoff committee doesn't care about strength of schedule. So what the SEC should do is try and schedule the bottom Big Ten teams out of the conference to screw up the Big Ten records. Yeah, I mean, none of this stuff matters this year. It's sure as hell going to matter next year. It's sure as hell going to matter next year when I'm standing here looking at a 9-3 football team that I think is much, much better than an 11-1 Big Ten team that got the luck of the draw schedule-wise. I'm going to lose my mind next year. I know I am. I'm going to lose my freaking mind next year because we're going to be comparing apples to oranges. And it's going to be 3 losses to top 12 teams for an SEC team that also has 3 top 10 wins. And then there's going to be an 11-1 Big Ten team that has a strength of schedule in the 50s. And we're going to be comparing them to a 9-3 team with the toughest strength schedule in the history of college football. And y'all are going to do the 11-1 versus 9-3, and it's going to be bullshit. And it is what it is. So I'll get mad about it next year. I'm going to save my time for that. FX Monahan just wants to pay us. We appreciate that. What if Lane's ultimate troll job is him going to Penn State?
Ooh.
Buddy, I don't think he's that dedicated to trolling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you turn down LSU to troll.
If there's any coach that would do that, though, it's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, it'd be the guy that's never gone north.
He's gone west, though.
He's gone west. That's not going north.
Agreed.
Going to Southern Cal is a little bit different than going to Penn State as a Southern guy. All right. We good to local hour? Let's head to the local hour. Welcome into our local hour. We got a whole nother, however long this is. Hell, we've already gone an hour and 55 minutes. Let's be quick.
Dude, I've got to do a prediction real quick.
No, let's not be that quick.
Nah.
I got some film notes for you.
Let's hear the film notes.
Actually, shit, we got 18 minutes. We got to go. Film notes, they're about to drop right here at 9 o'clock here on the network. We will have an ultimate premiere of that game coming up very, very soon. But here's what I got for you. And you'll hear me reference this in the film study. I think that there's an analogy here to be used from a different sport in this football game, and that's baseball. Okay, analytics have jacked up a lot of our sports world, but they've really, really jacked up pitching rotations in baseball. Analytics have found that the third time a batter sees a singular pitcher, his batting average goes through the roof. His runs and score, all of his data goes through the roof because he's seen the guy for a third time. He's more likely to get a good barrel on the ball. I feel that way about defensive coordinators facing offensive coordinators for the third time in a row, or third season in a row, or third time period. I feel as if when I get the same pitcher over and over again 3 times in a row, I am very, very comfortable. The prep becomes much, much easier. The fastballs are grooved. I can see the pitches where I need to see them. I feel more comfortable. I hit it better. I feel like that's what's happened or will happen. It's what happened, in my opinion, with Pitt playing Georgia Tech. And I think it has an opportunity to happen this weekend with Georgia's defensive brainchild that is, and brain stem that is Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, having kind of had it handed to them by this Buster Faulkner guy the last 2 years. I think they got a chance to have this football team uber prepared. There were multiple times in that Pitt study that we're going to show you tonight in about 17 minutes where Pitt football players are calling out motions before they happen. Where a corner walks down on a wide receiver, points at the guy stacked behind him, and goes like this and tells Haynes to go ahead and send him in motion because we know he's going in motion. That's how prepped Pitt was. That's how aggressive Pitt was. That's how very comfortable with what we're seeing Pitt was. I expected to happen this week for Georgia as well. They were even stretching alignments. If they caught running back alignment a little funky, might indicate truck toss, they were bumping out, stretching alignment. Like they were so keyed in to everything that it was Georgia Tech was doing. I thought the other thing that was noticeable is that it was very obviously a bad day for Georgia Tech on the offensive side of the football. Missed assignments, missed executions, dropped passes, errant throws by the quarterback that a 73% completion percentage guy had been completing prior to that matchup between them and Pitt. So it was a very bad day for Georgia Tech, compiled on the fact that Pitt was very, very comfortable and aggressive on the defensive side of the football. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this to be a slight. I mean this to be a compliment. I don't think there's a single NFL football player on the offensive line for Georgia Tech, and I could be wrong. But I don't think there is a guy there that will be playing on Sundays. That being said, they're really good. Like, they're not talented, but they're really good. They're well coached. They don't have a lot of busted assignments. They execute well. They run the right plays the right way, and they're schematically sound. So there is that. All that being said, like 3 years in a row, I've watched Georgia defensive linemen just park their ass in the backfield. I imagine something like that's going to happen again this weekend. So it's about overcoming that. It's about overcoming and hiding an offensive line deficiency in this matchup for Georgia Tech. And I'm going to tell you right now, Haynes King is great. He's a great runner of the football. He's fun to watch. He's tough as nails. But I do not think he is comfortable driving the ball down the field. If you get this guy into automatic passing downs, if you get this guy into situations where they're playing from behind, they feel like they got to create a bunch of chunks, he sprays it. It doesn't look comfortable. It does not look comfortable watching Haynes King try to drive the ball deep overs, verticals, anything 20 yards beyond from the launch point doesn't look all that good. I don't think he's very good at it. I think he's great in the flats. I think he's great running the football. I mean, he is shit, guys. Last week he dropped back 48 times. I think he threw it for 220 yards while coming back from behind. It's a lot of tackling in the flat, which is a big, big matchup for Georgia this week. Corners got to shed blocks. Corners got to rally the football. Corners got to tackle. That's what they got to do. And honestly, the last 4 weeks, they've been doing that at a really, really high rate. Massive game for DeMello Jones this week, in my opinion. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the seemingly downfall, I don't want to say downfall, but downtrend of this Georgia Tech offense has kind of coincided with the uprising of this Georgia defense to where it's coming at a perfect time if you're a Georgia fan.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. It's two totally different arcs for these football teams right about now. Georgia feels like they're on an upward trend. Georgia Tech feels like they're trying to limp to the finish line right about now. Let's get into it. Clean, old-fashioned hate, 3:30, Saturday afternoon, inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Friday afternoon, inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium on ABC. What are your thoughts in terms of keys to this football game, Kirby?
So Georgia Tech has not been very good on time of possession this year. That's partially because they are very explosive. They score quickly on offense, but they've also been giving it up on defense. On the flip side of that, if you look at these last 3 games with Buster Faulkner and Brent Key as Georgia Tech's head coach, they've been able to very much lean on Georgia. It's why Georgia was caught in such an awkward position last year, because they had like 4 possessions in the first half, and before you knew it, it was 17-0. My key to this matchup is which team can suffocate the other. Which team can basically just take the wind out of your sails, control time of possession, make you feel like you have to play from behind, make you feel like you have to be the one to hit the explosives. Because if so, you're going to be in a really good shape. It favors Georgia right now.
It's a great point. It's honestly kind of leading into my sudden key this football game is, can Georgia Tech go back to the way that they played games last year? Can Georgia Tech go back to being a 38-minute time of possession football team? What Kirby just laid out, they don't do this year. They don't give teams 4 possessions in the first half total. That's not how they play. They give 6 or 7 possessions in the first half total now because they play a lot faster. The last time Jonathan and I looked, they were 107th in time of possession. They're not a methodical machine anymore. So can they go back to that? Because that's the recipe for winning, in my opinion, in this football game. You got to get Georgia off the field early, and you got to hold the ball. Because if you leave your defense on the field for 14 possessions on Saturday, I got a feeling Georgia has a likelihood to score on 9 of those 14 possessions. And that's a lot of points that you got to now score. So I think that's the key in this football game. Can Georgia Tech go back to playing last year's brand of football?
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to. You're going to have to, dude. I think Georgia's defense or Georgia's offense has an opportunity. If you gave them a realistic, hey, here's 14 possessions, they might score 45 points on Saturday or Friday night.
God, yeah.
Friday afternoon. I mean, they'll run it up and down the field. So I think that's the key in this one for me for Georgia Tech. For Georgia, is not allowing them to do that.
Who can suffocate who?
Yeah, who can suffocate the other? It's very similar to yours. What's your X factor?
I think that this is going to be a very, very big game for, like you said, tackling in the flats, but also run fills. Haynes King, as we know, is a very dangerous runner with his legs. I'm not going to break news here. I think it's safe to assume that there might be a Georgia linebacker that will not be present for this game.
Yeah, no, I don't expect C.J. Allen to play.
That's what I was going to – so how the rest of that room plays without him there, because we said this guy was on pace to have 100 tackles. He was a finalist for the Butkus Award. He is a major component of that defense. Him not being there is going to leave a gap. It didn't seem that bad against Charlotte. What does that room look like against a much more competent opponent?
Competent opponent and complicated opponent.
Yes.
This is a massive linebacker test. It's a massive eye discipline test. This is a B gaps getting pressed, but the flats getting thrown to. Can you press B gap, shut off the run gap, then pursue out to the sidelines? Which for me, that's why the X factor is pursuit and tackling. All right. You've got to be able to rally to the ball and get guys down on the ground. Because again, their whole entire game plan is to modern option their way down the field, essentially. Every play has 4 opportunities on it. The quarterback could be keeping the ball. The running back could be keeping the ball. The quarterback could be throwing to the tight end in the flat. The quarterback could be throwing to a wide receiver somewhere within a 10-yard vicinity. Every play has a potential to beat you when it gets thrown to wherever it's getting dedicated to, we got to rally to the football and get the guy on the ground.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Unless it doesn't happen, Christian Kirby, what you got for me?
The Georgia offense has been an interesting dynamic this year where it's been taken over by guys, but it's been different guys every game. We've seen Chauncey Bowens have a great game. We've seen Zachariah Branch take over. We've seen Nate Frazier go for 180 rushing yards. Bo Walker had 3 touchdowns last week. Lawson Lucky had 3 touchdowns against Ole Miss. I think it's Oscar Delp's turn. Give me number 4 having his career day against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Raylan Wilson. 12 tackles
in
in this football game total. Maybe 7 solos, 5 assists. Give me 12 tackles total for number 5 in this football game. A big-time career game for Raylan.
Big time climb up the draft board.
Honestly, that's where I was going next. Like, it's the time of the year. I felt like Smile played really, really good down the stretch last year. Like, it's about the time where one of these linebackers kind of just, like, takes over. CJ was already on his way to doing it.
Yep.
The injury obviously subsides that for a little bit. But I expect Raylan to have a good game. This is the 3rd prep for Raylan for this one, man.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd time he's seen this offense. He feels comfortable, I would imagine, getting the looks and playing fast and free. That's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know how you feel, but I feel as if, and I could be setting myself up here, but I feel as if Georgia Tech is a product of ACC scheduling, and they're I'm not going to say considerably worse football team than they were a year ago, but they're a worse football team, in my opinion, than they were a year ago. I felt like I was more concerned about this matchup for Georgia last year because of the NFL tight end that they had, and they had Eric Singleton on that football team. Or Nick Singleton. Eric. They had Eric Singleton on that football team. And still had Jamal Haynes.
Yes.
Still had the nucleus of the offensive line. Still had the Rutherford kid. Still had Haynes King.
It was a weird dynamic last year because there was the Haynes King's injured. Aaron Philo might start.
Yeah.
We don't really know what we're going to get. I would say I'm equally as concerned.
All right. What's your score prediction, Kirby?
Give me the Dogs winning 34-23.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, 34-24.
I think it's a comfortable game. I don't think Georgia kills them. I don't think it blows them out of the water.
I think it's a 34-17, 12 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Okay.
And then Georgia's trying to milk the clock and Tech scores late.
I think this game plays out very similar to how 2023 was, where they were never in danger of losing that game, but it also felt like Tech was in striking distance the entire way through, and they just ran out of time.
Speaking of running out of time, we're running out of time here on the show. We've already gone 2 hours and 6 minutes. That flew by, Kirby.
It did.
Boy, that was really, really quick. We are 5 minutes away from premiering our Georgia Tech What to Expect episode. You were in here during that film study. What was your general takeaway before we pass it off to our film study?
You know, yes, there's a lot that this Tech offense has flawed, and I think it's gotten exposed throughout the year. But I also think, like you pointed out, that was not their game. That was not a good game for them. That was we're missing wide open throws. We've got digs over the middle. We've got, crosser routes that we're missing on, drops, stuff like that you can't expect will be there on the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Tech's offense looked horrible against Pitt. Don't expect that to be the same offense you get as a Georgia fan.
Yeah, I would expect they executed a much higher rate on Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs in that rivalry matchup. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Like I said, we have a film study debuting here in about 5 minutes here on the network. Make sure you're liking that stream as well. For you Patreon-only subscribers and you dog fans listening today, we will have a Young Guys film study tomorrow over on Patreon. That will be Patreon only. That will not be up here on YouTube. If you're looking for that, the link is in the description. It's patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Hey, this is what it's all about right here. I think we converted one. Shout out to Spartan. This is a pretty good show. I'll take pretty good. I'm aiming for great. We're chasing greatness around here. Appreciate you for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. Goodbye.
Do a pretty good job, too.